Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah. Before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland, with love and strength and faith.
The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Hey, that's so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom. In freedom. In freedom. Peace and unity. Arise, my people, arise, my people. With love and strength and faith. With all our hearts and minds, we from about to go be down to Benue. From Warri to Lagos.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. Thank you for joining us this wonderful evening. And for those of you who have joined, thank you for joining us. This is a segment, and Adama is here as well too. So please, I will appreciate if you mute yourself. I've muted every one of you here, and before we go ahead, I'll give the floor to Adama to say one or two things. Adama, are you there?
Good
Hello?
evening. Can you
Yeah,
hear
go
me?
ahead. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
All
we
right.
can hear you.
Greetings everyone. Thank you for joining us for this segment. Um, my name is Adama, and I hope you guys are ready for today's topic. Before we start, we're going to be talking about men in the diaspora. Why do they go back home to marry? And not just marry women from back home, they maintain a family back home, and at the same time maintain the family they have in the diaspora. And before we get, that's our main topic. Before we get to that, we're going to go to I'm going to We're going to start first with the trending topic, whatever happened during the week regarding the political space. Electricity is going to be handling that. We do have rules. Please mute your mic. And those in the comment section, let's learn to be respectful. The comment section is being monitored, and let's keep an open mind. You do not have to agree to everyone's opinion, but is that opinion? But let's be respectful about each other's opinion. Thank you. Andrew, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you so much. Uncle
Thank you very
Junava,
much.
good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too, man.
Yes, good to have you back. You're one of our MVP, the women's segment. Thank you. AY, greetings. AY is one of them as well. Uncle I,
Greeting, Ada.
and we have Dawn. Welcome to the segment, Dawn. Jide, thank you for joining us as well. Ukwazo, I'm sorry, I'll use the Okafo. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Okafo, welcome to the show as well. Andrew, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Gentlemen, welcome. I understand there's a discussion going on earlier that you guys want to continue here. And so I will respect that because I heard Fofada talking about it. So I'm going to respect that and for us to continue in that trend. However, I'm going to appreciate if you guys can weigh in. Maybe I'll give you 2 minutes, 3 minutes on the issue of the impeachment of the Lagos State House of the Speaker on the ground of gross misconduct. And I think I was earlier for Father's broadcast when I said everything is in the hands of the people, the citizens. The ground to which they impeached him, the citizens have that same right in the Constitution to recall their legislators or their representative for not even attending meetings. There's a number of times they can miss meetings that the people the citizens can recall their reps back. So I'm going to give each of you 2 to 3 minutes, then you can continue the discussion. I'm going to start according to what is on my screen here. We'll go for Okafor,
Can
please.
I make a suggestion?
Go ahead,
Why
please.
don't we continue from the segment what they were saying in the other segment? Then you can ask your question. That will be another topic of its own. So why don't we continue from what they were saying in the other segment, since they wanted to continue that topic so that whatever their train of thought is not lost. So if you don't mind, let's do that. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem. Go ahead. Okay, I start with Okafor. You are the first person on the screen here, so the floor is yours, please. Thank you. Okafor, are you there? Okay, we don't have it there. AY, you are next. You're part of the conversation. So,
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I think I will focus more on the Lagos politics because the topic we are discussing, we didn't have any particular topic. We are just everywhere, to be honest, in the last segment. But as regard the Lagos politics, I honestly feel it was the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. His time was overdue as the speaker because I have watched a couple of his video and comment for the past say 2 years. He has been kind of power drunk, rude, and he talks anyhow. As a leader, I don't expect that from a speaker. Even the governor, to be honest, he has been very humble. I don't know him one on one. What I see on the video, the way he deal with people, the way he relate with people. To be honest, you'll give it to Suolu. But as regard the speaker, he has not conducted himself very well. Even one of the video where he was, because he's interested in the governorship of Lagos State, he was talking recklessly, even in the presence of the governor. I learned in that discussion, in that meeting, he delayed the governor. Like, you can't treat the governor like that. The governor is the number one citizen of a state, no matter what you're gonna say. I think it was time, and I know that call was from the the upper boss in Lagos State. Because, to be honest, or I know we have issue in the political landscape, but I will tell you this: Lagos is the most organized political structure in Nigeria. I can tell you that. That is why, if you follow the history of Tinubu in Lagos, Tinubu is the only politician in Nigeria that can move his structure to a new political party tomorrow. He will win election in Lagos the next month. That is how strong that political structure is. I don't know if any of you have heard of the governor something council, advisor council. This is a very strong force. They can make that call, but I mean, it was time. The speaker needed to exit, at least for peace to reign. You know, I can't even imagine if such person become the governor of Lagos, because Lagos is cosmopolitan. Like, we should have a leader that is able to work with everybody. I think Showolu, yes, in terms of the development, performance, yeah, that's a different discussion. But in terms of personality, I give it to Showolu. I think he has behaved well. He has been able to manage the people very well. That is part of governance. So I will give it to him. I think it was time again. Now they have a woman speaker. I mean, let's try a woman. At least there is nothing wrong if the governor is a man, the deputy is a man. I mean, there is nothing wrong when you give the speakership to a woman. Let's see what she can do, how she's able to manage the house and work with the executive. So the 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 working relationship between the executive and the legislature is very good. It's very good for the state to move forward in terms of bills. I don't really want a rubber stamp as House of Assembly. I mean, that is what we have in most of the House of Assembly in Nigeria. Hopefully, they are able to criticize the policies of the governor. They are able to criticize them on the just ground, you know, judiciously criticize them for the benefit of the people of Lagos and Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to come to you back here, because there's question. Okafor, are you back there? Are you there? Okay, he's not back yet. Don, are you there? Okay, Don is not there. Jide, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. There was a conversation going on earlier, so you want to continue on that, or you want to weigh in on the Lagos State removal of the Lagos State speaker?
Yeah, I will talk about what I was talking about earlier briefly. For Lagos, for the expulsion of the Lagos commissioner, that one, I've been struggling. I'll just listen to everyone, but let me continue with my chain of thoughts with forefathers, AY, and honor politics. They are not here. Yeah, we're talking about what to expect from Trump. So my point was that there is no lesser evil between the Democrats and the Republicans when it comes to foreign policy. It's about priorities. It's about priorities. Both of them, both political parties still implement the same foreign policy, not just currently, even historically. There is no notion of one is involved with fighting war and the other likes to make peace or just likes to make everything calmer. No, both sides have historically been known to either create wars or end wars. in different dynamics, either through proxy war or through economic sanctions or military invasion. So that was my point, and I think we agreed on it eventually. So yeah, I'll just stop there.
Yeah. So in respect to the Lagos State politics.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that Nigeria as a whole, like, after Nigeria's so-called yeah, I will still give you the historical context because that's where my strengths are. So, like, yeah, local Nigerian politics, I'm not so good, but I'll give my point on this. The way I see what's going on, this is my view. I feel like since 1999, since when Nigeria has like reverted back to democracy in inverted comma, even though I don't see it as democracy, I see it as a kleptocratic system. It's not a democracy in its real term. Like Nigeria is not operating under a democracy. So you see that Lagos State has been dominated by the Tinubu clan, right? It has been dominated by the Tinubu clan. And what I know living in Nigeria, because I left Nigeria at a very young age, like what I know about Nigeria is that those governors or whoever is a political, who are the political agents in Lagos, if they do not align with the interest of Tinubu and his clan, they are usually expelled. And maybe that's playing out now. I'm also hearing that his son, or I can't remember the name now, would also contest for governorship.
Tinubu.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, we also contest for governorship. So it has been going on since then, like, since when we went back to so-called democracy. He's a very smart politician, and I give it to him. And I give it to Tinubu. He is a very smart politician. What I wish for Nigeria and for Lagos is if we can have smart politicians like that, that can be revolutionary. If we have smart politicians that can be smart, but for the interest of the Nigerian people, I think Nigeria will go through a successful revolution. But I give it to Tinubu. He's a very smart politician, and he has been able to dominate Lagos and even the entirety of the country through his smartness and his acute understanding of the political terrain of Nigeria. So I'll give it to him. That doesn't mean I like him. I don't, obviously. It doesn't mean I like him or hate him. I'm just respecting his political smartness. So Lagos currently is run by that clan, and whoever does not align with that clan is definitely expelled or is being sabotaged. Even, I think some time ago I heard about even this man, Ambody. I think he did some things that did not align with Tinubu's interests, and they had to kick him out of office. So it's a thing that has been common. So that's where I see it. But I'll stop there. I'll allow others to talk.
Thank you very much. Uncle Ike, good evening and welcome. No, John Abba, let me go to John Abba. John Abba, good evening, and it's been long we spoke, and I hope you're having a great time where you are. In the subject matter, the previous discussion, you were also involved, and also the Lagos State, the political game being played in Lagos State distance. So the floor is yours, John Abba, before I ask the question that I want to ask in respect to the Lagos State distance. Thank you. John Abba, are you there? Okay, John Abba is not there. Mr. Ike, are you there? Uncle Ike. Okay, Uncle Ike, John Abba. All right, thank you. Anyway,
I'm here. Well, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to weigh in on the issues that were discussed earlier? You were on the earlier show, or you want to go straight into the Lagos State drama that has unfolded there?
Good evening, everybody, and happy Saturday to all. You used a terminology already. It's a drama that is going on. It's political drama already, that is going on. Everybody is positioning for 2027. Lagos State is the structure of Tinubu and his family, so they can do whatever they want. But that is for Lagos State, But I think that whatever the game that are being played, maybe his son wants to be governor. So Lagos is the family property, so they can do whatever they want, who they want, when they want it, and so whatever that is going on in the political space in Lagos is not surprising to anybody. This is Tinubu's handwork and his structures. So I don't know much about the speaker himself as a person or his activities, but the machineries of the people who are working against him is arrogant, is power hungry, is was accused of corruption. So we don't. This is Nigerian politics. You don't know which one is true. So whatever that is going on in Lagos is not going to surprise anybody because this is the time to prepare the ground for whosoever the Emiloko want to be the governor of Lagos State. So I'm not surprised. The structures, he pick you and he throw you away anytime he want. So what can anybody do? But I think that it doesn't augur well for anybody, in the political landscape. At least 2023 is a practical example that his structures can be taken away from him if people decide to do that, and people did it in the presidential election. So no structure is undestroyable or dismantleable. After all, what is happening in River State is the same thing. So, nothing lasts for long. Nothing lasts forever, my dear. It's just for a while. It's a moment. So, if what happened in 2023 is possible in Lagos, everything is possible in 2027. So, I'm not moved by what is going on in Lagos State because it's normal. That's what he does. He picks you and throw you away anytime you disagree with him. So we keep watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ike. I don't know if John Abba is back. If John Abba is not back, I'll still stay
Hello?
with you, Uncle Ike. Okay,
What
John
you
Abba,
say?
you're back.
Everybody love electricity.
Welcome, John Abba. How are
Thank
you?
you. Thank you
It's
for
been long.
having me.
You're welcome. We're going with the earlier discussion and including the drama that has already unfolded in Lagos State. So here's my question: seeing a family dynasty running the country? Shey Tinubu is likely to be 2027 governor of Lagos State. And if the father remains in power till 2031, it's likely to be the next president. That is my own prediction in 2031. So, you want to go with the earlier discussion first, then you weigh in on the question I asked. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Electricity Adama. Thank you, AY, Jide, Okafor, and my brother Ike from the island. It's nice to meet you guys here. On the issue of whatever I've been discussing, I don't think I'm so much interested in discussing that. But then on the issue of uh, what is going on with the Lagos Sheikh Tinubu. All things are possible in Nigeria when you are a pastor. So when the Bible says all things are possible, I think it's you can localize it to Nigeria. So whatever happened in 2027, if Tinubu is alive, it will continue to be your president. And depends on pushback on him. One of the problem Nigerian, also many Nigerians do not understand, and even the people in power, they are more afraid of you than you are afraid of them. So we have seen it in 2023, it played out in Lagos that Tinubu lost Lagos. And the reason is that Lagos is a mixed city of all people from World of Life, and they decided to say no because they saw him in Lagos and they do not endorse his way. So if Sheyi run with a strong opponent, accept his ring or use the father influence to ring it, to ring the election, he will not win. And the unfortunate about it is that the Nigerian youth in Lagos, some are very well informed, and others are just gullible. They give them dollars to give them any kind of money. They go out and fight those that are supposed to fight for them, that are fighting for them, they fight them. But if you let it be an open election, Shea will not win the election. And if the margin is so large, that is when the INEC and anyone that they put in position to run the election will distance themselves, because that will be too much to deal with, just like it happened in 2023. So, and whatever happened in Lagos, stays in Lagos. I worry more when it comes to politics. Politics is local, just like Ondo State and Edo State and the rise of the people and Oyo State going on. And I saw one on the floor. I don't know why the person do not come with his interpreter. I don't know why it's a big deal that he could not even construct the or whatever he's trying to converse, that they didn't understand him, that they have to correct him. He could have been very smart and go with interpreter to tell them what he want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, John Harbour. The new speaker is okay. Before we go to the new speaker, the ground to which I'm coming to you now, based on your own argument, what you presented. Are those the things you highlighted? Does it is it enough ground to be interpreted as gross misconduct, and as such, he was impeached?
So, um, so the when you say gross misconduct, it's just like we have a discussion the other day. Again, that is a big term, right? But in the house, right, in the assembly or whatever, when you say gross misconduct, there are a lot of things that are embedded in gross misconduct. But that is just what any house will say. Even if you want to impeach the Senate president, now they will tell you gross misconduct. What that basically means, it's a political term. So it basically means like, if people really want to impeach you, there must be excuse. There must be some reasons to impeach you in form of, when they say gross misconduct, it could be that you embezzle money, and if you are really investigated, you come and see the person is actually guilty. It's either there was some form of breach of the constitution, but that is on the surface a political term. But the truth is that call was from the big boys up there. That's just the honest truth.
Okay,
So people
so
must
there's
have
no
agreed to say
there's no
get him out.
fairness yet. There's no
There is no,
fairness yet.
there is no, in terms
Okay,
of fairness, there is none. He just
okay,
basically they don't want you. That is why you are out. Because he has been, if you need gross misconduct, you will not even spend 1 month there.
okay. Thank you very much. Okafor, are you back now? I don't know if you're back. Yeah, okay, you're not back yet. Mr. Hike, Uncle Hike, sorry that I keep based on what AY just said, it's not doesn't stand as gross misconduct. The issue of the president being $460,000 was confiscated from him, and the issue of his certificate drama. Should he not be impeached on this ground, Uncle Ike, if you're there? Okay. I'll circle back to you, John Alba. John Alba, are you there? Okay. Uh, everyone seems not to be there. I don't know what's going on.
Just me.
Okay, I guess they're waiting for the for the main topic. Adama, are you there? Adama, are you there?
Even Adama is not here.
Okay. So anyway, let's continue the discussion here, please.
Okay.
So the most important thing I want to highlight here is the grounds to which they removed him, or but they use the constitution. They base their argument on his removal on the constitution. And these same grounds, the citizens also have it. Why don't we use it to remove or to recall their elected representatives?
Yes, electricity. Were you calling me? Sorry about that.
It's okay. It appears that people actually have been calling everyone. It seems they are here for the main segment. I'm not seeing John Abba, Carford, Jide said it.
I think it's because I don't understand what you're discussing. Are you talking what is it in the political space you're talking about? Because I kind of lose I don't understand what are we talking about? So are we talking about constitution? I don't understand. What are we talking about? That's what I want to understand in regards to
No.
the politics, because I didn't get to ask like what is it that we're discussing so I can understand.
Okay, you were not here, so I'm going to bring you up to speed. We're talking about the drama that unfolded by the removal of the Lagos State speaker. And at the same time, the previous topic that was being discussed, most people don't want to continue in it. So most of them don't want, except Jide, who waded into it briefly before he went into the speaker's discussion. So that's what we were talking about. However, like I said, it appears that they're here for the women, for the main topic, Nigerian men in diaspora, marriage of convenience. John Abba weighed on it, Mr. Ike weighed on it, Jide weighed on it before he asked to be put backstage.
Okay, so your question, I don't know what happened in regards to the politics. Do you know what they were talking about in the other segments that brought some of our panelists in? Do you have an idea?
No,
And why can you highlight me on what you guys were talking about if you don't mind?
To be honest, for father, he was just everywhere. We were discussing the world
I heard the
war.
tax thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed the tax thing, but we were just everywhere, to be honest. So I don't. I think you should ignore what we discussed in the other section. We just focus here. Like yeah, we were just everywhere, basically.
Okay. All right. Thank you about that. In regards to the remover, I have a question. The Speaker of the House, I'm confused. Is this, in America they say Rep and Senate. Like, I mean, is Lagos a rep? Like, I don't understand. How does it work? Like, is this the Senate House or the
Andrew, can I explain
representative?
to her?
Yes, please.
yeah,
Okay,
sure, go ahead.
so in Nigeria, the way it's structured, right? In the state, you have the governor, then you have the House of Assembly. House of Assembly is like is for the state, strictly for the state. Like Anambra have the House of Assembly, Kano have the House of Assembly, Edo have the House of Assembly, Lagos have the House of Assembly. So the House of Assembly, then you have the governor, right? So the House of Assembly is the legislative arm of the state. So they have a speaker. The speaker is like the leader of the house. Just like so in the federal, the one you are referring to now, the Senate and the rep, those deal with the federal. Those are the federal settings. The president, the Senate, the House of Rep. That's the federal setting. So we are talking about Lagos State House of Assembly, where the speaker, the leader of the house, was impeached for gross misconduct. That's what we are discussing.
Okay, so why was he impeached? Is there or like what was he fired by? You know how they say he was impeached, or is there a reason behind the impeachment?
So when they say gross misconduct, there are a lot of things embedded in gross misconduct. It could be financial misappropriation. It could be a breach of the constitution. But basically, the way Nigeria system is structured, when you hear this kind of impeachment, it's a call from above. So it's not really like the House of Assembly doing their work. So when you go outside Lagos, you have the governor mostly controlling this House of Assembly member. So if they don't want a speaker, they can bring in money, influence the member of the house to remove the speaker. So in the case of Lagos, you have the governor, yes, but there is a force that is even bigger than the governor. Here, you have like Tinubu is the leader of Lagos politics. You have the governor advisory council, which is another struck force. This kind of people, they are the people that will make that call. Call the house member. They will let them know the speaker needs to go. So in Lagos, the way they structure their team, they can also make a call for them to say remove the governor. So somebody can make that call. So there is a force in Lagos that is even bigger than the governor. But in other states, you have the governor having the control of the House of Assembly. So when they don't, if the governor does not want the speaker, he can influence the member, especially his party member, said, remove the speaker, I don't want him. So that's what is going on. So it's not like they don't follow rule of law. So this is the problem. So it's more like you are wanted, you are not wanted. So that's what
So
it
it's
is.
more like you're aligned with your party or you're not, like a
Yeah,
party
not
tussle.
not party alone, to be honest. It's the more you look, the less you see.
See,
Ordinarily,
oh, okay.
ordinarily, the people, the member of the house, they should be able to come up with say, okay, the speaker, you are not serving us well. You've breached the constitution. You've done this. You've done this. They can come together and sign a document. Then they call for impeachment of the speaker. But if you want to do that, like constitutionally, you have the member have the power. But what you find in this house is there is a high level of thuggery. If you want to impeach the speaker without the governor supporting you, you might face, he can call in talks into the house or calling even the police to say, he can just call. I said, I'm suspending anybody that is involved. He can suspend you for the next 1 year. He can suspend you for the entire remaining duration of your tenure, and you will never come back. So the speaker, they have this power. So Nigeria is just, I don't know how, maybe Chi will be able to explain, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
Thank you
madness.
so
It's
much, AY.
madness.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate you for taking your time to explain. I really
Yeah.
So, Andrew, I'm coming back to you. So, what is your question when you say gross misconduct? I am trying to understand from what angle are you looking at it from? So then I'll go to Chin, then we'll go to the main subject of the day. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, the issue is not just about the gross misconduct. The issue is that our rep have they use the constitution to carry out their own, while the citizens have the same right to start to use the provisions of the constitution to remove the rep and that claim to be representing them. That is the angle to which actually I was going at the end of the day, because in earlier segment with Forefather, I did say that I don't really pay much attention to our leaders anymore, but the failure of the citizens as to not to act accordingly and not to start to use the provisions of the constitutions to remove the way they remove, because if a rep is not attending meetings, there's a threshold. If the rep is not attending meetings, this rep can be removed by his own constituents, members, those that voted him. So that's the angle to which I'm going at. So not
Okay.
necessarily in that term. So I yield the floor back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go to the main segment. Welcome, Chim. Andrew, could you please play the next video, and Chim will start us off with the video you're about to play. Thank you. And could you highlight the topic? We're going to the main segment. And just to explain to our viewers, we try to start the 30 minutes with this segment to highlight a little bit of politics. Then we go to the main topics to kind of get people to come in. Then we'll go to the main topic just to explain to our viewers what is going on. Thank you, Electricity. Could you go ahead, play the video?
To some of my brothers who they live for diaspora, why be saying for that one marry? Una go leave Nigerian woman where they were on a day. For example, America, UK, Canada, and some European countries. Una go leave Nigerian woman where they there. Come go Niger, carry one. If una bring and come, if she leave, una go the verse say una bring woman come from Niger, she leave. Now let me tell you, the reason why some of una no one married the Nigerian women where they were on a day, because of say una no say they no fit tolerate una bad behavior. That's the fact. Because if you don't get bad behavior, why you go bring one from Niger down, come Obodo, you down and leave you too? You get bad behavior. You brought her to a Western world. She come see herself for country where we say that they respect women. She can't realize that she no fit tolerate you. That's why she left. The problem be safe, then come out. No, I go first run, come social media, they cry, say, I bring woman, come abroad, she leave me, go. Tell us what you do that woman will make and leave you. In fact, if you be Nigerian woman, if you dey Niger, all these abroad guys, if all from nowhere just begin to shut you up, they careful. They find person where they go fit manipulate easily. I'll see you guys on the next one. Nigerian women remains the best.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chim. Welcome to the show. What is your opinion on that video? Thank you. Chim.
Hi.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. Well, I don't know. It depends on the context on which you're looking at it. So it's I was going to say the gentleman, so I withdraw that statement, gentleman, because I don't know if he's a gentleman. The thing is, there is this fallacy of generalization. And because there have been men who, with the best of intentions, decided to go home. And it's not new. So, of course, when I'm talking, I'm going to bring in my religious perspective. So when Abraham was trying to find a wife for his son, he was living in Canaan. He did not marry. He didn't allow his son to marry any of the Canaanite ladies. He sent his servant to go back to the civilization where he came out from and get a wife for his son. Why did he do that? He did that because of the values he was sure he had, which was embedded in that society. And I'm not talking even, I'm only referencing it because it's a spiritual book, but it wasn't even necessarily because of any spiritual, it was just value sake. So some Nigerian men in diaspora, many Nigerian men in diaspora, they've lived in diaspora. Maybe they went there to study. Maybe they went there for, economic benefit basis, settled down, succeeded, and then suddenly won't feel like, okay, I need to marry. The reason why many go back home to marry is because of perceived value system back home to say, you know what, I want to go back to somewhere I'm more comfortable. Sometimes it could be as trivial as food. Oh, let me find somebody who is able to cook a Nigerian dish once in a while. Somebody that I can speak the language with. And when we start raising children, those language, the woman will be able to, transfer those languages back to the children. These are some of the reasons. So there have been good men, good intention, went back home to marry, brought the spouse over, and it broke down, it didn't work out. For some, it has worked out. But there's also been men, the type this other man on the video was talking about, have gone home with bad intention, or because they feel, okay, I don't want to marry this American lady who is very exposed, someone who's going to challenge me. So I'm going to go home and go and marry supposed timid lady that I can control. Unfortunately for him, the lady is only timid because she's looking for something. She comes in and he tries to do that stuff, and the lady says, you can't have your way. And he breaks down. So it's not exactly accurate that Nigerian men who go back home to marry are doing so because they have bad behavior, like he said or suggested, and they're looking for somebody they can manipulate. No. Marriage takes a lot. There are instances where living in diaspora alone, both parties are good people, but the challenges of the diaspora life becomes the melting point. Things like finances. Managing finances can create problems and all those kinds of things. So as an introduction or as an initial statement, I don't agree with the guy 100%. I think, like I said, is the fallacy of generalization that he has engaged in. Perhaps he's also a skit maker and is looking for using that to drive conversation, even though the topic is a good one. So I don't agree with him. Like I said, there have been very good men for value reasons. And then nothing says because you live in Turkey, if you don't see any lady you feel comfortable with, that you shouldn't go to Germany and go and marry. It all depends on you. There are Igbo men who have said they won't marry Igbo, that they want to marry a lady from another ethnic group, and vice versa. So, and they start looking for those people across the board. So, we're talking about it because we're in diaspora. Even back home in Nigeria, it happens. There are people who come from certain ethnic groups, but they look for spouses across intentionally, not just that they're living their lives and then they meet, I'm Igbo and I meet a Yoruba girl or whatever. No, there are people who say, I want to marry an Hausa lady. It happens. And they begin to scout for, put themselves in a position to be able to meet that kind of person and, tie the knot. So that would be where I would initially leave it. And then as the conversation, journeys through, I'll chime in furthermore.
Thank you so much, Chim. I'm going to come to Okafor. Are you there? Could you please unmute if you're there? Mr. Okafor, are you there? All right, thank you. Then I'll come to electricity. I'm going to come to you, Andrew. What is your opinion on this on the video? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just follow on what Chim said. I mean, he said behavior. It wasn't even specific as to what the behaviors is or are in that regard. Behaviors go across both ways. I know we're focusing on the Nigerian men in diaspora marriage of convenience. So, marriage of convenience, it's not just necessarily has to be one going home to get married. Okay, marriage of convenience can happen anywhere in the world. I can be in Europe as I am and have a marriage of convenience, or in America. But men going home to get married. It varies. They all have their reasons. But if their reasons is to what is for convenience sake, if that's what the guy is arguing, then it's bound to fail as well too. But again, like what Jim said, we should avoid generalization because we don't know reason why some of them go home to get married. And if I leave the woman that I went home to get married, what was the reason behind it? Is it why would I want to marry a woman in diaspora? It's a choice that I have to make of whether should I settle with a woman in diaspora or I go home and get a woman and bring her here. So if it happens once, twice, or three times, then we can now call the man to a question and say, listen, what is going on? This is not the first, this is not the second, and this is the third time that is happening. Then we have to look into what? Into your behavior as well. It couldn't be the women in that regard, because I can tell you women that their behaviors have made the man to leave as well too. So we have to pick what are these behaviors. That is the question that keep bubbling. I mean, coming to my mind
So could you,
when
okay,
I
so while you're talking about behavior, could you please give us example on behaviors, like since you and Chim pointed out behavior, could you please be specific or give us highlights on some behaviors?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said again, what could be the behaviors that will make the woman to enter the marriage? Okay, uh, it could be they disagree on finances. It could be they disagree on how they manage the home, because the system in Europe or in Western world is different from the system what in Nigeria, where the man has to take total responsibility, and in Europe or in Western world it's 50-50. Maybe the man wants all a salary. Maybe, like I don't. I'm just speculation. So is he a drunkard? Is he a womanizer? Is he a whatever it is that doesn't sit well with the woman? Also, the laws in Western world favors women in Nigeria. When they leave Nigeria, they see how the laws protect them, as long as they don't abuse it. And these laws are there for them to use to their work, for their own protection, not for abuse. So if the man now behave contrary to the law, then it can now lead to what? To the marriage being over. And if he thinks he goes to Nigeria and bring a woman and think the woman is not going to wise up, or he can oppress her or want to control her, that are kind of a behaviors that may lead to what? To the end of the marriage. So if the man does not look inward and say, okay, you know what, this is number one, this is number two, and number three, it's then I have to now take a step back and look at myself. I hope I'll be able to answer your question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. AY, what is your opinion on the video we just watched? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I I think most of these guys they are just content creators. In all honesty, I think they are just content creators. Um, I agree with some of the stuff he's saying, though, but my own personal opinion first is usually I don't encourage my friends to go back home to marry. I still believe if you live in abroad, if you look for somebody that is reasonable, if you see somebody that is reasonable, it's better. But in a situation where you don't, you find who you like back home, I don't also see anything wrong. You can calculate your risk and take your risk. I go back home. I don't think there is. It depends on what you really want. Just like Jim rightly said, there is no a rule for you to say you must marry here, you must go back home to marry. I feel people should have freedom to say where you get your who you want, the qualities, you go for it. But personally, I definitely gonna stick to my environment. Um, I feel it's easier, but people have their different view about it. So I don't think we should use that to blackmail men that decide to say I'm going back home to marry. Some people want to marry from their tribe, which might be difficult to find in abroad. Some people want to marry in their villages, which might be more difficult if you live in abroad. So it really depends on what the person wants. That's just my personal view of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Uncle Janaba, are you there? Uncle Janaba, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. What is your opinion on the video we just watched in regards to men going back home to marry instead of marrying someone in their location? Not saying that anything is wrong with you going back, anyone going back home to marry. So why do most men or some men prefer, some men, I'll use the word, some men prefer to go back home and get married?
Okay, thank you, Adama. I think there will be, I will speculate as I'm not the one that went home to marry. I got married here. But I would say there are many reasons to they go back home to marry. Younger ones, maybe someone they think they will be submissive. So many things that go in along with whatever the reason why they go back home to get married instead of marrying the one around here. It can be also controlling because sometimes they go to. I have uh, a situation whereby the guy went back home and got married from home to a younger lady, and the lady says later say no, and the guy was threatening her. They will give him, I think, a dowry, and all of this was a chaotic scene because the lady now realized that they are not a match, but I think the motive is us. They think sometimes also I think they know, but the ladies know that this person is maybe a little older than them, but for reasons of they're also going to travel to America maybe. So it's a give and take whichever way. But I think that's maybe one or two reasons why they go back on to get married.
Thank you, Uncle Janaba. So I want to get Uncle Ike, then I'm going to put a spin on this. Uncle Ike, are you there,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yes, there was, sir. What is your opinion, sir, on the video we just played, sir?
Sorry, I stepped out because I'm still in the office, so I didn't watch the video, but I've been listening to what other of my colleagues are saying. Is, is it about marriage, marrying,
Yes,
going home?
it's about some men going back home to marry instead of marrying in their location, let's say where they reside. So that was the question, sir.
Ah, well, I think it's a personal choice, you know. Um, I think it's a personal choice and a personal convenience, you know, because like somebody like me who from time immemorial I never wanted to marry an Igbo woman. I've been a man who loved intertribal marriage and, you know, people getting married from different parts of the world. So for me, it's just something that I've been with me from the time I was a young man. And by the grace of God, I lived up to live that dream of what I wanted for myself. So um, I think it's just a choice, you know, because even some of our people who went home and married, bring their wife over here, they ended up in divorce. So it's just because the kind of opportunities the women over have here in the Western world probably is not in the same thing in our place because of our culture and tradition is attached to those things. So when they come over here, they see that, you know, they are in charge, they are the person in control, they are the boss. So that's the way what I see that is one of the problems. So in every marriage and in every relationship, whether you marry from wherever, there is going to be issues, you know, but it all depends on how one try to resolve issues, right? So I think it's a choice, you know. I see it as a choice. There are people who are excited to marry from where they come from, you know. They want to marry somebody from their place. Maybe when their children grow up, they can, you know, speak the language and be part of the culture and traditions of where they come from, you know. So there are so many reasons why some people want to go home. Like somebody said, yeah, probably it might be somebody you can be able to control, or, you know, unlike over here. But he discovered that when you marry them and bring them over here, you cannot control them anymore. So they live in an environment where where there are rules, where women are in charge. So I mean, it all depends on it all depends on who God gave you, you know. So, but a lot of some might not be lucky, some might not be fortunate, you know. So this is the way I see it. I think it's a personal thing, you know, because I just gave myself as an example. I really never wanted to marry an Igbo woman right from origin. So, and I ended up living my dream. So it's just a personal choice. I have no problem with my sisters. I love my Igbo sisters so much, you know. But this is, like we said, it's a personal choice. That's what I think. You know, that's my own opinion. It's a personal choice.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate your input and your response. AY, I'm going to come to you, then I'll go back to Chim, um, Uncle Jonaba, and Uncle Ike. Then I'll come back to Lush. AY, the question, this is the question I want to put to you, to every one of us. How about men who go back home and marry these women, and they leave them there, and they come back to this wherever their location is, and they have a family as well. They never want the one in Nigeria or wherever African country they reside to come to the diaspora. So they maintain two family. Why?
Yeah, this is very interesting. Actually, this is the one you're supposed to encourage. I know people like Uncle Ike, they're gonna fight me now.
Of course, I
You
know
know,
that's the one you like.
those that are ready to do polygamy, So you can have one back home and have one here, right? Because here, I mean, they're not gonna let you have two wives here, right? Except you just marry one legally and the other one is just there. So if you are interested in polygamy, I think it's doable as long as you'll be able to be traveling home quite often. So um, for some people, is they don't want their children to live away from them, right? Like having children in Nigeria, not see them every day, every week. You know, it's kind of some people cannot do that, but it really depends. If it's what you want, I know I know of some cases where the maybe the man was having issue with the wife here. They are a bit of age. They will now go back home, set up a new family back there. I think it's more like for security in case you know you never know, right? So I think it's more like for security. But if you have the means to do it and there is nothing holding you, you don't believe in one wife, one woman, like my uncle Janaba, there you can go back home, have some wives over there, you know.
No,
That's
well,
my
okay, anyway,
opinion.
the situation I'm talking about, most times
Mm.
these women in in Africa don't know of the women in the diaspora.
Yes, even in Nigeria, there are men that will have two wives. They will not know the main family will not know the man has two wives. But I think that in all honesty, I think that is some kind of foolishness. If you are ready for polygamy, you can't be you let the other family know, right? So probably they are scared of the implication in terms of if the woman don't agree with them and she has evidence, she can want to like take you to court, want to divorce or some kind of maybe they are just scared. But you should be man enough if you are ready to do polygamy. Let the woman know you are ready to do polygamy. This is your position. But it's unfortunate you have this kind of men that are very quite deceitful. You have a family set up somewhere, your wife will not be aware. I don't want to. I don't believe in that kind of settings. I think you should be transparent with whatever you do, with whatever you want to do, and let the woman decide if she want to be in that settings or not.
Thank you so much, AY. Electricity, I'm going to come to you, then I'll come to Chim. That way I don't lose. Electricity, what is your opinion on the question about men who go back home to marry in the diaspora and still have a family in the diaspora, and they never want to bring the one in the wherever they reside, like they're let me use an example in Nigeria to the diaspora. The one that want to stay over there because they don't want that person here and they still maintain a family here. Why do you think men do that?
Thank you very much. Before I answer the question, I'd like to welcome Man of Prestige and Mr. Rama, who just joined us. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, you see, there are different reasons why men do that. First, let me highlight what AY said. Some are do it because their polygamy is convenient for that's what we call marriage of convenience. Okay? And sometimes also it has to do with the circumstances of the men here proud to them. Maybe that is the reason why they have their papers. And so they have a wife here and they already have a wife in Nigeria. And sometimes the wife in Nigeria knows these situations. And also, there are also other reasons why they could do it as well. To maybe they don't want the woman around them or for whatever reasons. But the key thing here is the emotional aspect of it, of the woman who is away, who is in Nigeria, that is not part of this circle of family. The denial of that physical contact, it's what is the main issue to me. If it sits well with the woman, she must be benefiting something somehow, because I don't think, in my opinion, any woman will want to stay away, far away from their husband if there's true love, if they love each other. And the men also wouldn't want to bring them here, maybe because they felt, well, I can control this woman or whatever. There's several reasons in that regard. So the few ones I know is one, for reasons behind their papers. You know, I got married to this so person, and I can't bring you here until maybe everything is finalized. And sometimes the thing never got finalized. They end up staying with that person and maintaining the one back at home. So it's not the choice of the one back at home to make that decision. Is this what I want? Or alternatively, for the men are usually self-resolved. I don't think most men will want to wake up and say, you know what, I want to stick with this one in abroad. So you in Nigeria, you can go, or you in abroad, you can go. I want to bring the one. So that's the selfishness of man in that regard. Whether we are polygamous inclined or not, we kind of want to eat our cake and have it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come to you, Chim. Chim, what is your opinion on the question I asked? And why should the one back home? Let me go with the scenario Andrew just gave. Yes, you're looking for your papers. You came here, you met someone, you already had someone back there, and quote unquote, things did not go how you anticipated. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, before you know it, 10 years, you have this person back home waiting for you. Why should that person remain loyal to you if physically you're not there? So, Chim, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so you know me, I'm a very direct person. It doesn't help me to be direct because the world doesn't love people who are direct. So you had this person, you promised each other you would marry yourselves, and life circumstances and situations took you apart. You went searching for the golden fleece. Excuse me. Unfortunately, you went searching for it in the wrong way because if it's not the wrong way, you wouldn't need to marry somebody to legalize yourself. Irrespective of whatever anybody wants to say, which is why there's no argument anyone is going to make to me about anything called illegal immigration that will agree with. If you can't enter somewhere legally, then you're entering illegally. So you've gone there and you needed someone by way of marriage to legalize you in that land by way of your papers. You've done it. Maybe you like the person now, I don't know, or maybe you don't, or whatever it is, but you've moved on, technically speaking, and then somebody is still waiting for you back home. If you still have any modicum of honesty, call that person and tell the person to move on. Call that person, reach out to them, tell them, I don't want to waste your time. I got here, I've gotten myself into a circumstance, and coming back to you is going to complicate matters. I would just advise you to move on.
Chibi, if you tell me move on and I say I still want to wait for you because I can't let go of you. You're the love of my life. What will you do?
That won't concern you now. At least I have been honest with you. At least I have been honest with you. That's why you see, I'm happy we're having this kind of conversation now. I was rational enough to realize that I've gotten myself in a situation. And I don't know how I'm going to untangle myself from that situation. So in order not to complicate matters further, like I said, I reach out to you and I tell you, if you now choose to say you want to wait for me, it's now on you. It's no longer on me. It's now your choice. But I will make it obviously clear to you that waiting for me is not going to work. That I might not show up again. So unfortunately, that is not what many of our men do. Like Andrew said, people want to eat. And by the way, this is not a male thing only. It only so happens to have been that at an earlier stage, it was men that were doing it. Women do it now. In fact, I mistakenly did not share a video which would have been good for us to play. In the course of the week, I ran into a Facebook post of a man. I think he is into matchmaking people in Diaspora or something like that. and he matchmaked this lady. And it turns out that the lady he was matchmaking to a guy had previously been married. So this guy was living somewhere in one of the good African nations or somewhere, and met this lady and paid off her debts and went home and married her, and then started sponsoring her to go abroad. She goes there abroad, and then she decides to go marry another man somewhere and tells the guy to go and divorce her. This didn't just happen. I just watched the video.
That is a well thought out, put together arrangement now. Do you know the thought and this thing that went into that arrangement?
Which are on whose side?
On the beneficiary and both of them. You know.
No. The guy was doing a good job and met somebody he fell in. Actually, I didn't want to go further, but okay, let me break it down. The girl was actually into prostitution. So, you know, she was living in one of the Arab nations, prostituting, I think the UAE. But this guy liked her and said, I want you to stop this. And she said, I can't stop it because I owe the lady who brought me over to the Middle East to pay her off. And the guy said, how much exactly are we talking about? And the lady said, this is how much I owe this, my madam. Said, okay, if I pay it off, would you stop this? He said, and the guy took money, paid it off, and said, I want to marry you. That's why I'm doing all of this. I like you. I don't forget about your past life. I love you as a person. I know that circumstances make people do things. So I'm ready to overlook all of that. And then they went back home. The girl is from Benue State, John Abba's sister. He married her, paid her bride price. In fact, he even went through some challenges going to marry her because he was kidnapped in the process.
Tim, that was his choice. Nobody forced him to do it.
No. Hold on. Hear the whole story. He marries her and he's trying to help upgrade her and sends her abroad to go study, pays everything. The lady goes abroad, comes to Canada, and then finds another guy through this matchmaking process. Is the matchmaker that is leaking the secret now and saying he's going to break it up, that he just discovered that somebody he was matchmaking is not being honest. So he came on social media to leak it. I just watched it this past week. I wasn't told, not something. Unfortunately, I couldn't copy the URL to share. So the point I'm trying to bring out here is that it's not a male thing only. It's on both sides of the aisles.
But the percentage of men who do it are higher than women.
No, that's not true. It's a percentage of men we hear more. We don't hear the female because men have ego. Men don't like.
Another question.
Men don't like being coming out to make it look like they've been cheated. Men have this way of bottling up. But the point, like I'm saying, back to the question is, if I found myself in a situation, what I will do is to call back and say, oh, you move on. But if you choose not to move on, that's on you. It's no longer on me. But this is me talking. This is not what typical Nigerians or typical human beings do. I'm not a typical human being. I do things differently. I try to do things different. I make an effort to do things in a different mode. Because I think it's wickedness for you to keep a young lady, someone's daughter, waiting for you, and then you elope with another lady. It's not right. And that's why I'm saying if for whatever reason I'm desperate for some benefit somewhere and I get entangled, and that entanglement is that I'm trying to get papers to stay in the land somewhere, and because of that I find this lady and I get married to her as a way of regularizing myself in that land. If I do that, that other relationship back home Nigeria, will just forget about it. It's over. So, but anybody who is not able to do that, you're being dishonest, and and I don't think any lady, in fact, I will advise ladies, don't marry anybody who lives abroad you don't know anything about. Somebody who is not willing to, as they're marrying you, they're taking you immediately. Don't. And then you demand, don't just go back home and marry anybody. Be careful who you marry, so that you don't marry the one that you will take over and the person you have become their meal ticket. Bring them over to where you are, and the person decides to do you Brutus. So it's on both sides. For me, to be honest with you, society is wicked. Male and female people have ulterior motives. So we need to be careful in our choices. But back to the main bone of contention, I don't think it's right. I think any man who does those things is plain wicked. I won't go to any place, and I don't think anything will make me go somewhere where I would need to start cutting ends. I avoid cutting, and if I can't do something straight, I can't do it. It's just me. I'll give up on it.
Thank you so much, Him. I appreciate it.
So, Sister Adam, I know there's a guy that you want. Why is it the explanation has to end up with is from John Amber's brother is a prostitution now?
No, John, it was not. I was just trying to say is our
Uncle
sister.
Jonathan, I am so
Are you
sorry.
Are you from Benue?
Okay.
I'm from Benue too now.
Yeah. Tim na monkey.
Uncle Chim, behave yourself. Thank you. Raham.
Rahman.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. You can pronounce it, however, actually.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you're now one of those people that emphasize on words or take it overboard. Welcome to the show. Hope you've enjoyed the conversation so far. What is your input on the question I just asked Chem and the whole video in total? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And to say good evening to everyone. And Mr. Andrew, thank you very much. It's a wonderful question for the show that you are having and for this wonderful show. So I appreciate it. I've been listening, but I missed the video. I didn't see the video. Well, from the conversations and from some of the questions, I know that the questions actually it's not just one. You know, you have different questions all about the marriage by Nigerians here and people at home. Those that involve someone who goes home and bring a wife, or someone who marries someone here because of paper and then eventually maybe or has a girlfriend back home. So you have different shades of the question of diaspora marriage. But one thing that I just want to say, people, it's up to people to decide whatever kind of a marriage that they're looking for. Those who you mentioned those who do practice polygamy in any way. Yes, that's also one thing I've noticed. I came from a polygamous home, and I know in my 20s I hated it. But knowing the way human beings make choices and the environment we are, I think it's up to anyone to do that. But honesty is always important. That's just one thing, no matter what. If a man wants to marry more than one wife, it's important to let them know rather than have separate kind of lives. I think dishonesty in anything is not, as we know, it's not the right way to go. But of course, we have people in different situations that they decide to do whatever they want to do. But the core of what I actually want to mention is the idea of the problems that we have been having in people marrying someone from Nigeria and coming here, and after a while, there's a big problem. They break up. Even sometimes maybe someone getting so angry to the point of killing one another in some ways. And it happens more with men bringing a woman from home. From what I know Mr. Chim mentioned that it happens the other way too. But yes, we hear more of men, and we tend to think that, because men typically in our culture, it's like a man marries a woman, we don't look at it as like a woman picks a man, marries a man. So because of that, it's something that tends to happen. But one thing I noticed that I feel like it would be good for us to keep in mind and probably even share is the idea that when a man brings a woman here and you're living together and problems start at some point, typically there is no marriage that will not have some problem with one another. And when the man starts to have the feeling and saying, I brought you here, I demanded maybe some sort of appreciation with everything that she has to be doing, some sort of acknowledgement of that in everything they do. I think that is a big problem that I think can really worsen a marriage, because and it's untrue. if we look at it very well, I know we are all very religious in Nigeria, but the real things, the real core about religion, we don't know it. We just belong to all different religions and we call ourselves religious in some way. The real point is that in reality, I don't think anybody really brings anybody here. You may pay for someone else or anything like that, but whoever is going to get here, as all of you know, if you look back in most of us, at least let me say, you look back in our history, one way or another, we find ourselves here, and we may have been struggling to come or not or anything, but you just notice that, you know, something just clicks somewhere and you find yourself here. And with regards, if we want to admit, you know, that, you know, all that effort, it's all luck that gets you to where you are. Anything in life, even if it's not about coming here, if you look at all the successes that everyone can have, you just know that it is not really our efforts that's really doing all of the things that we get, and our effort is important, but at the end of the day, it's just the way things are. So in that essence, the woman that you find in Nigeria, it's that kind of thing, luck, that brings you together. A situation, no matter what one can call it, people find a woman for you, you found a woman yourself, or in any way. So I think if we respect life in such a way that you know that you may pay for the woman's documents and bring her here and all of it, we need to also appreciate the fact that it's because God wants her to be there, to use the G word in here, you know, as something controlling everything that happens. So if we are really self-regarding like that, and we are able to appreciate what reality really is, and know that we may think we are the champion of the situation that we are, but we know that there's something larger than us that's determining everything. So in that way, that humility, I think, can be able to help some marriages, because a woman that you are shouting at every day, even if you pay for everything to bring her here, I brought you here, do this for me, I brought you here, you know, one day that thing is going to shoot back to you, and things can become very catastrophic. So it's that kind of understanding of humility that I hope people can really find in themselves and realize that, you know, nobody brings anybody anywhere.
Thank you.
You know, so, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Roman, I just want to ask you, given from your name, and I want to correct me, are you a Muslim?
I was born a Muslim, but I have found religion that I think is beyond a religion of division. So now I belong to all religions, and I probably don't belong to any religion.
Okay.
Sometimes I can say that my religion right now is myself.
Okay. And given that you came from a polygamous family,
Yeah.
is that something you would be interested in, given that how you were raised or anything? Would you be interested in that? You know, we have some special people on this platform, they know themselves.
Mhm.
That promotes it. His name starts with A and Y. Yes. So what is your opinion on that, sir?
See, to be honest, it's hard to really say something categorically about these marriages, because all social elements that we have today, they were developed. You know, everything came over the period of evolution, and now how society, especially if you look at it in America, it's glaring how the system favors someone, a couple, more than just someone single. You know how it costs you in tax if you are just one person and things like that. So the element of really the social value of people coming together, loving each other, staying together, having kids, and all of that. So those are there. But all of these things, we as human beings, we pick them up along the way of our evolution. And the same way, polygamy has its value at some point, and when the head of the house needed a lot of children and big family to be able to till the farm and do whatever they were doing. So it had its function. So it's hard to say to criticize it or something like that. And it takes a while for people to either realize that maybe it's no longer important. But still, it doesn't mean that those who think they want to do it, if the women are happy to be in a polygamy, and the husband is something the husband likes, it's good. But what will be important is the respect of one another. To really treat each other as human beings, and rather than oh, my wife, and you have to be this, you have to be that, and things like that. Because it's the same thing that the person who is in one partner marriage is the same thing that if it's in a polygamy will do. But in my own case, it's just experience of, to be honest, it's both sides. I can say when I was in my late 20s, I wrote about it in a negative way, but that was because of my experience in, when you have a family, when the fights of the wives fighting, and sometimes it can get as from in our own Nigeria, as we know about, how people will go underground and do things, so all of those things that's what I noticed, that the typical way the polygamy has been functioning is it starts with the man who is interested in having many wives, but the more wife a person has, the less value I think the women tend to get, because if you are married to one woman, the value of that woman to you is you are just, but you have a second wife, now she's not the only one and only that's there. There are two, so that value are split into two. You have a third one, you have a fourth one. So that's one thing that I noticed. And when you have people, human beings, in competition of anything, and you have these women one way or another, they're feeling in competition with you because of how you've been handling the house, being the lord of the house, they start doing that, and enmity starts, which is common from where we are from. Enmity starts among them. They start fighting, and then they start seeing juju man or woman to be able to fight the other people's children or do something to. So when all of that starts and it starts coming, I think, at that point first, the women start to suffer, in that situation, and then later the children will suffer, and at the end of the day. So, but to be honest, I have seen polygamy in different ways, and it's not always like that. But it's difficult for humans to really be able to, for example, in Islam, that says men can marry 1, 2, 3, or 4, but at the same time, it also says only if you can share your love equally among them. And some people will tell you that it's impossible for a man to share love equally among 2 or 3 or 4 women. It's impossible. That even our children, we tend to have favorites. So some people will make that argument and say, in essence, that God is saying in the Quran that marry one wife, because at the end of the day, at the end of the verses, he say, but if you think you cannot to love them equally, then marry one. So it's someone can think, I can try, I can do my best, I can do, so that's up to everyone. But at the same time, I'll tell you this, in a polygamous home, that's one thing. There was never a dull time when I was growing up. That's one thing that I feel like I like better than a situation where you may be 1 or 2 children in the house. Our house was full. We have all different generations and it was always noisy. We were always having fun, and you have an army of people who are really to fight for you outside, and all of those things. Those are also things that are that I enjoyed. That I can't say it's something that I was saying no.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate how you answered this question and in educating our viewers as well. I love what you said about loving them equally, no matter how many you marry. And it's impossible as human for us to love, but some people claim they have the skills. And Mr. Rahman, please,
Adama,
I will. You see,
can I
they've
quickly
come to
correct something?
they've
I
come
need
to
I need to
attack
quickly
me.
correct
Let me
something.
finish now. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
okay.
Association of Polygamy, we are coming to you. Thank you. Mr. Rahman, thank you. Please
my pleasure.
mention, I just want to make sure that you come back. You're always welcome to this segment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, AY, what is your
Thank you. I
correction?
Yeah,
appreciate it.
what I want to quickly correct Abraham, where Quran never said love them equally, actually. It was more of justice. He said if you know you will not be able to do justice among them, marry one. So justice here is actually different from love. That's what I wanted to correct.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
No, I'm okay.
Thank you. Rahman, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Man of Prestige, could you please unmute, sir, your next?
You're gonna jump me?
Oh, Uncle Jonaba, our MVP. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Uncle. Uncle Jonaba, you're next, sir. Sorry about that, sir.
Man of prestige is my mind. We married to a sophisticated woman, so he
Hey,
can go. So,
and they happen to be Umahia women, though.
yeah, so let him go ahead. If he's awake, sometimes he's not even awake.
Let me see. Man of Prestige, are you there, sir?
Yeah, greeting everybody. Oh, Mr.
There, what's
Danaba,
up?
what you mean? What you mean? I'm not awake. You're the one that should be asleep. You know, yeah.
I'm always
I'm
looking.
3 hours.
I'm
I'm 3
always
hours
looking.
behind you.
I'm
I'm 3 hours
always look.
behind you.
I'm always looking sexy. That's why people think I'm sleepy.
No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that, Janaba. I'm talking about time wise. As I'm 3 hours behind you, so it doesn't. I couldn't be asleep. You know, you're the one that's about 7:40 something right now. So,
All
That's
right.
but
okay, man
anyway.
of Prestige. Happy New Year. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed your vacation back home. Good to have you back. Could you please comment on what we are talking about? What is your opinion? Did you get a chance to see the video? And I had a question. This is my question. You can disregard the video. My question for you is this: why should someone stay loyal to you if you've kept that person waiting for a certain amount of time? Let me give you an example: 5 years. Let me be fair. And you have a family where you are in the diaspora. And Chim gave an input that was so open and honest and direct. If you know Chim, you know he's a direct person. It's like take it or leave it. So my question to you is, why do we put people on hold just because we want to? And when we ask that question, why is this person not here with you in the diaspora? Oh, if she comes here in the diaspora, we're going to get divorced. The marriage will be over. So my question is, why do we put people on hold? Why we have a family or we have someone we're sharing our life here in the diaspora? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greeting everybody. If I haven't said Happy New Year to anybody here, greeting and Happy New Year to everybody. So I just joined. I didn't see the picture. You know, I just joined when Tim. I think before Tim spoke or something like that. But I was able to deduce, what you're speaking about. But before I proceed, in order to second what Tim said in reference to that video, I saw that video completely, about the lady from. I don't know, but this is not about you, okay? The lady is from Benue or something like that. Like she said, it goes both ways, and what the lady did was, was outrageous, So men does it, women does it, and the lady, what baffled me is even what the lady did after I has dumped the guy, and get another guy from America. Of course, she went to school in Canada, was in Canada when the matchmaking came up or something like that. What she did to the man, and, you can't believe it. But, I just want to second Tim that I saw that video too. Exactly the way Tim, narrated it. That's exactly what happened. But so, so the question you just asked me, why, why that? I think it depends on circumstances. I'm not here to justify, whether you come here, you decided to marry somebody because of, you want to get your, green card or quali or whatever you call it. Then you abandon the wife, you'll already agree, or you haven't married, or you're already married in Nigeria. You said you're going to get married. So sometimes, circumstances, necessitate something. I mean, I think somebody would say that, there's no way they're gonna do something under circumstances. I mean, I can't speak for the person, I can't speak for anybody, but sometimes circumstances, necessary for you to do something. Like you come here, you want to get it, you want to get a paper. Maybe you come here by school or something like that. For you to stay, you have to find a way to stay. You didn't get a job because they do it differently over in, I think over in London. But anyway, for you to stay here, have to get married. But you have no choice. I mean, you don't want to go back to Nigeria. You want to stay here. In order to utilize your, whatever degree you have or something like that. So you decided to get married, but what I'm going to say in reference to that, whether you marry somebody, most of the time, you marry somebody an American, in order to get a green card. So let's assume it was initially just to get a paper, but later on, you fall in love with the person, you all have kids and something like that. So, I mean, in that regard, at that particular time, you need to be transparent to the person at home. Say, hey, this is what happened. Because it's just like that's how life goes. People get married every day, people get divorced. You just have to be very transparent to the lady at home and tell her, say, look, this is the situation I find myself, and this is what I did. But right now, I find my soulmate here. Can we just amicable, go our separate way? It gotta be. You can't keep the person waiting. Even I thought the person regardless said, like you properly stated at Dama, that the lady at back home said she's not willing. She's gonna wait for you. There's no way he's gonna wait for me. I mean, they have to make it clear you can't wait for me. I think being a transparency is the most important thing. I'm not a proponent of polygamy. No, that's not for me. There's no way I'm gonna share myself with more than one woman. That's just the way I am. It doesn't work for me that way. It's not gonna work. So, but if it work for you, power to you. I mean, I'm against it to myself, not to what you want. Everybody has different personality or what they how they feel about being in polygamy marriage, but that's not for me. So I'm not gonna go towards that. But the bottom line is that you have to be very transparent to the woman at home and tell her this is what what's going on, this is what I want, this is where I'm right now. I mean, you have a lot of people going back home to get married for whatever personal interest, neither because you want to bring somebody here in order for them to work for you, put them to school and everything. And what you have to understand, going back home just to get married without knowing the person it's not a good thing to do. You don't know this person. The person might have their own ulterior motive. I mean, a lot of women wants to come here. I'm not going to say all women. There's some women, doing well in Nigeria. They don't want to come here. So, but a lot of women, you all know, we all come from Nigeria. We know the kind of the poverty and everything going on in that country. People want to jackpot, whatever they call it right now. So definitely, you don't know what you're gonna get yourself into, no matter how pretty or whatever they look. They say they're gonna love you, but when they come here, it's a different ballgame because women has freedom here. So when they come here, they learn the system or something like that. So that's where we're having a problem. You have people, quiet each other or something like that. Yeah, it go both ways, but it's more pronounced when it comes to men that are do it the most. Women does it too a lot. I mean, women are so as vindictive as men. I'm not gonna hear. I don't have the percentage to tell you, which one is more. But the bottom line, Adama, you have to be very transparent to the woman you left at home and said, "This is what I'm doing. We're not gonna get married unless you have an arranged marriage here. You are very, transparent. You tell the person this is business. I've seen it where I work. There's people here that marry for business. They pay the people off, say this is what it is. We're just gonna live temporary for 3 or 4 years or five. Then if I get my paper, we're gone. So that's a straightforward. Then you can keep your relationship at home. But if it is not that, um, then you have to divorce after you get your paper here right away. You have to divorce the person. It's very easy. I don't want to get married again. If you really love the person at home, but there's no need getting the person, strolling the person for many, many years. Is No, that's not good for the person. So that's my submission on that regard. I'm not for that.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your input. Welcome back. Uncle
Mhm.
Janaba, you're next. Could you please unmute, sir? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Adama, once again for having me. Repeat your question exactly the way you want me.
My question was, why should you put someone on hold back home and you've left that person for a certain number of years? And like Chim said, if you call that person and say, you know what, I got here, I found someone, can you move on? I don't want you to put your life on hold. and that person insists and say, I want to wait for you, I love you, you know. And if it's a woman, they say, Uncle Janaba, oh, I love everything, your family know me as your wife, you know, we've been married, the community, we are married, you know, by tradition and everything. And you say, you keep insisting and you say no, move on with your life, I have moved on with my life. And the woman insists, because the conversation I'm trying to have here is a balanced conversation where everything is not put on the man. A lot of our women are willing to wait for a man that they have been away from a certain number of years from. They're willing to put their life on hold. So my question is, why did this man or the women believe this person they have on hold is still loyal to them? Because for me, if I have left an environment for a certain number of years, they say people outgrow each other, things change. Why should I believe that you're still into me? That's the question.
Okay, thank you. It go both ways, like you earlier said. Uh, Sometimes people want to use that to claim that they are still married. They want the society to respect them, that they are married, their husband is in abroad, or they are married, their wife is in abroad. And it may work for them based on whatever the game they are trying to play. There was a scenario or a situation whereby this guy lived in America for so many years. He left his wife back home, and he worked so hard, and eventually he got into trouble. And he think the best way for him is to move back home. He have sent enough money home, expecting that the wife build a house, and they were established back home. In fact, when he got back home, the guy that came to the airport with the wife was his wife, whether you call it boyfriend or a new man or whatever. And he made it clear to his wife that he have some issues in America. If he goes back, he may end up being jailed. And the wife insisted that he should go and this, and in order to force him to leave, he told him that that was his boyfriend, the guy that he saw that they came to pick him from the airport. And for some reason, he's from Texas. He has to go to New York and do become a cab driver. Then Uber was not popular. And I think in the processes of his tail light was not working, he get pulled over, and they find out, the police pulled him over, and he find out that he's wanted in Texas. In fact, he died here in the jail in the city here. So there are many people who take advantage of such thing and just want to exploit you both ways. And there are situations whereby some people just want to stay married and have that shame take away from them. So it's not like one is taking other for granted. And some people genuinely want to practice polygamy. And as much as Chim says that you want to tell one to move on is not a cheap talk. You can tell, it's a cheap talk, but the reality is that some people have used to you all their life. And some people are brought up that way, that they are so much into someone. I've seen a lady to a guy that he told me the story, and I believe him. He's married, his children, he have grandkids now. To tell you how old he is, even he's over 65 years. And the lady he dated when they were in secondary school, she still believed that he is his own husband, and he kept telling her move on. And sometimes you say that is that something wrong with her, or how did she just live her life like that? Or you can find, oh, did she have a problem? So sometimes it's very, very, it's not that easy for some people to move on like that. And I don't know why they hold on to things like that. It may be a peculiar situation, but then it's okay to let people know go. But then some people do it because it's convenient for them, and I think sometimes people live in a denial. The other people knows what they decided not to acknowledge it, and they can handle it, whether it's the male in the situation or female. They just decided not to deal with it, but they're aware of it. There was this is here in United States. The guy is in Houston, and the other and his second wife is in Dallas area, and he is married to African American lady, and he is married to a Nigerian woman. In with with the other lady, I don't think they have a key because they met. They're all in advanced age, but he went back home and married, brought the lady. The lady in Houston know that this is the family we visit, but she never knew that they are calling him dad, the children. But I think the Nigerian lady know her as the wife, but she don't know. And he asked the guy, why are they calling you dad? And he said to him, so what do you expect them to call me as of my age? A young guy will call me by my name. This small kids will call me by my name. And I don't know. I don't know as of now whether they have realized, but as of the time I know of the story, they visit every Thanksgiving. They spend it together with the lady. Some people just have secrets, and I don't know. But what I believe is that the energy you use to hold on to something like that is a big thing. To trying to manipulate, trying to stay with that kind of secrecy is a lot than to be honest about it. And just like AY, I think I personally am not against polygamy. I'm from one. Just believe that people should work with what work for them, and the world is changing. And I always joke about it, but somehow I mean it. Why, if you think you are in love with somebody, and it depends on the woman. Like Adama, I think she would better cut off her husband's head than to hear she get married to another or date another. And likewise with my wife, I believe. But then that is the people what they can deal with. They just want to stay. I know some people that they have the grace. I don't have a problem. I enjoy my polygamous family. It's a bubbling. It's all a lot of reasons for us growing up. If you it could have been toxic because of rivals issues, but then my dad was able to bring us together. Every one of us love our dad and our mom, which is unusual. Both male and the female in our family. Our dad is a phenomenal dad. And I don't have such grace, I think, but then I don't have a problem at all. I enjoyed it today, seeing my younger brothers, my senior brother coming together in numbers and all of the thing. And if mind can overcome that, it's a good thing. But if you cannot handle, if you don't have the wisdom, someone says, and I think this cited Quran that they say if you can love them equally, and then one says that even among our child we have the favorite ones. So in that case, then it shouldn't be a case. It's about wisdom. You keep those things to yourself. It's not something you rub on somebody's face. You can be walking on the road and you still see a beautiful somebody. I remember as holy as Jim, he said he still look. So if people look, do you going to kill the person because
If Uncle KJ can look, it's
you
him.
see?
No. No. I support what you're saying.
I think it's wisdom that at least you don't throw it on your partner. You have respect for them and the boundary. But in any case, I think it's good for people to say, this is what is going on. But if they're able to deal with it in their own way, it's worked for them perfectly. But I believe that energy is a whole lot of energy to be keeping such secret. It will be much than to be transparent about it and go through it. But if you can, and it work for you, good luck. Be like Andrew. Everyone love electricity.
Thank you so much, Uncle Janaba. I really like you. Thank you for sharing that story with us and our viewers. Okija, ndewo sir.
Oh, I don't know.
Ndewo sir. Can you what is your input? Did you hear the question I asked Uncle Janaba? And what is your opinion on the subject matter that we're discussing, sir?
I didn't get that question because it was kind of long.
Okay, the question is this. Why put someone on hold back home when you know you're not going to marry, you're not going to bring the person here in the diaspora, when you already have a family, a situation going on here that you're happy with, but you still want to hold on to the one in Nigeria and just have that person waiting for you? Why?
Yeah, hi, good evening. It's a straight answer. That person must be stupid, selfish, and someone needs to take care of him. I don't know. I mean, like that's the only thing, because you play with someone's life. Someone thinks he or she in love with you. And maybe, I mean, I believe, this question is, the person who's telling the person to wait is a man. So from the way the discussion is going. So, I mean, the man must be crazy. I mean, like, you have a family here, you have, you love your family, or even if you don't love your family, I mean, we have to be honest with the other person, say, look at what is going on. And, and if it's love that is, like shaking both of you, you should be able to explain to the person, this is what is going on. I know, there are cases where people, come here, people are in love with Nigeria, and the man comes here, he has to, regularize himself. So, but then, you have to use your brain. If you're still, wanting the other person back home, why should you, start something, start making babies and all, complicating your life here, instead of trying to do your thing. And again, it's not because you're in love with with somebody doesn't mean that the two of you have to end up together. I can just love someone from a distance. Thinking the best thing is to just let the person go and then move on with your life here. For I know their situation, like I've heard a situation where the woman, she was told, like the guy, I'm married, whatever. She said she still wants to, stay, but you have to look at it. Why does she want to stay? Is it because she's getting something, financial help from you, or what is she doing back home? Probably she'll be like doing her own thing, and you'll be supporting her life. So it's a complicated thing, but sometimes what I tell people is that, I mean, like, if your life is straight, if you like, you met someone, you marry, fall in love with the person you want, be thankful to God. Some lives, the people, their life are complicated, the way that's why everyone is a special story. They tell what they go through. I've seen a situation where people, like, they married all different people, and eventually, they come back together. So yeah, that's the way I look at it. For those who are, knocking polygamy, I don't know why somebody should be knocking polygamy. It's our culture, even if, I mean, it's the nature of man everywhere, and even in the US.
It's just that, like people speak, people like, talk, or but ask an average man in the United States, if he wants to tell you the truth, he will tell you that he wants to be married to more than one wife. That's basic truth. And in a culture where people marry, average person, in the US marries 2 times, in his or her lifetime. And in a situation where you see people marry more than, like, for instance, Larry King, he was married like 7 or 8 times. Elizabeth Taylor, she was married like 7 times. And then, what sense does it make, like, for a man, for our culture? Let me not just put it here. Let me just our place where our culture is still, different. Why do you have to, have side chick all over? I'm in Nigeria. Before you say a rich man, Nigerian man that doesn't have a side chick, even some pastors have side chicks. So why have a side chick? Why not bring her into the house and then have a family? Or just like, she's good to be, taking the hotels, but she's not good to be a wife. I don't know. I don't know how do we look at it. For those who, I have a cousin, about my age, he has 2 wives. I think,
No,
he's
but
crazy.
Okita, I think you're mixing the two together. There are men who want to have their cake and eat it, in the sense of men who want to be married and still have a side piece. They
Yeah,
don't
but
want to be associated with bringing her in and making her a wife.
yeah,
Let's differentiate the
yeah,
two.
it's because the conversation has been shifting away from 2 wives. Then it was like common thing that people have it, but because of the conversation is shifting and the attitude, maybe in the church, for instance, a Roman Catholic church, you can't have 2 wives in a Roman Catholic church in Nigeria. So the church forces you to have a side chick instead of having 2 wives. So you're a knight, for instance, you're a knight in the Roman Catholic church. You can't.
Are you talking about Knight of the Columbus? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
you can't even. I mean, a Catholic can even have 2 wives. Not to talk of someone who's a knight in a Roman Catholic church in Nigeria. You can, Knight of Columbus or Knight of whatever. They have so many of those things. Anyway, so that person will not even. He can't even entertain it. So he will prefer to go to church on Sunday and collect Holy Communion than to, have this, get a second wife. So that's why I'm saying the conversation has been shifting. So making it it's like placing a burden or placing a like what do I use? Like if somebody that you are doing a bad thing, for marrying 2 wives when it's supposed to be a good thing. There are a lot of women out there, in Nigeria. I don't know the population, but it seems from what people say that there are more women in Nigeria than men. There are people out there. There are so many unmarried, like even people with Nigerian, it's common to have single mothers, unlike before when we were growing up. So, all of them out there. Some of them, they don't even know the father of the baby, So, but why do we have to keep continuing this culture, because we want to be like Igbo people instead of, like our own, when the church came to us, instead of just infuse the whole thing together instead of just but we just forgot about our culture and try to be like them. So I mean,
Okay, so Okija, I like what you said, and I just want to I believe in when we speak, we practice what we preach.
yeah,
Since you practice our culture and you're a very cultural man,
yeah.
wherever you reside, sir, do you practice what you preach in regards to this topic? And in
Of course.
regards to saying that polygamy is like, why are men frowning at it? Is in our DNA, it is in the African. So do you practice that, sir?
I mean, if I'm practicing polygamy,
Mm-hmm.
in my person, I can't practice polygamy in the sense that like I don't, like I prefer to take work stress than to take woman's
Oi,
stress.
Uncle Gadariana.
No, I'm just telling you, even then, during our father's or time, not all of them were polygamists. A lot of them, some of them married 1 wife. But a lot of them, married 2 wives. So I'm saying that, in my composition, in my DNA, it's not something that I can do 2 at the same time, 2 wives at the same time, but I mean, like if you people allow me, 1 wife and side chick, that's okay. But just kidding. But I mean, so it's anybody, even in US here, I know some Nigerians who are married to 2 wives in the US here. They have 2 wives in the US here, but one legally married, one legal. the other one, they understand, what they're doing. So yeah, that's
Thank you so much for answering the question. And for the viewers wondering what I said to Okija when I said Okwe or Darian, I mean, has his tone changed in regards to what the question I asked him in practicing what we preach? So, this is my opinion on this topic. Whatever you do in life, please be honest, transparent, and live in your truth. If you know you are into women, whoever you want to get involved, please express that and just let them know. This is what I'm into. This is what I like. I have this person in my life. Do you want to be part of the team or not? I have come to realize one thing about life the older I get. The more you live and be honest about who you are, people who will accept you will come aboard on that journey, or they'll say no, I don't want to be a part of your life. So let's learn to be honest, transparent, and stand for something.
But
Integrity matters a lot. You
yeah,
cannot be everywhere, you cannot be here there. So let's be honest, like let's just stand for something. If you know you like polygamy, go for it. I'm not against it. But I am one woman. If I want to go into polygamy, let me live in my own house. That's just my own personal preference and my opinion. So before I close out this topic, Andrew, you said you have a question for Chim. Could you post your question to Chim? Then I'll go to AY. Hold on, Andrew, before you unmute. AY, what was your question?
no, I don't have question. I just
What?
like what you are saying, right?
Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
you are
What?
getting no, you are getting close to polygamy the way you are now loving it, right? I just appreciate it.
Huh?
I was just appreciating how you accepted polygamy.
Eh?
Yeah.
Eh? Hey, Jesus. Hey, AY, you want to see me in CNN. That's what you want to do. Thank you so much. Andrew, go ahead. What is your question to Chim? Chimi Ikanokwaya? Chim, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, thank you.
And
Please stay on
I
mute.
think
Andrew has a question for you.
I know if Man of Prestige has already weighed in on the question I wanted to ask because Chim said once you get this arranged marriage, tell the person back at home they should go away or they should leave or whatever it is. But since it's an arranged marriage, the first rule is there's no love involved in it. So, and love may never be involved in it. But the other part, Man of Prestige has already weighed on it that we don't know people's circumstances. Yes, it's nice to be honest, to be transparent, but when it comes to the issue of finding oneself in diaspora, in abroad or whatever it is, it becomes very challenging when you want to get your papers. I'm not excusing anyone. It's like saying, don't leave your country, stay in your country. Because if you're not born in the diaspora, wherever you are, if you're not married to them, instead you come in as visiting, you become illegal immigrant, and so it's challenging. Some of us are some are economic migrants. So it's not that black and white. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's not that black and white. When people leave their country, it becomes a survivor of what.
So, if I can understand what you're saying, what is your point?
My point is, it's not that black and white. That's just my
Black and
point.
white meaning what? Be specific.
Adama, sorry,
Meaning that
can I step? I think
I
I
think
understand
Chim
what you're
understand what I'm saying.
Let
Hold,
me.
hold, on, hold on, Chim, before you step in. Be specific. Black and white meaning what?
If you find yourself in diaspora and you need your papers, you go into arranged marriage sometimes. It depends on what circumstances you get to or you want to get your papers. That's what I mean by it's not straightforward. Chim understand what I'm saying, so let him.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. If I understand what you're saying, you say for their viewer, you say for those that find themselves in the situation where you have to marry someone to secure your stay in whatever situation you find yourself, and I agree with that.
Adama, you're going too granular. What Andrew is simply saying, which I have a response for, is life generally is not always black and white. And I know where he's coming from. So I remember when I said I wouldn't do something that will put me in a tight situation. What Andrew is simply saying is you never know. He's just saying you never know. But I have a pushback to what Andrew said. And let me correct an impression. Sometimes people think that when somebody is trying to be forthright, then you are projecting an image that you're infallible. No, that's not correct. There's no human being that is parading on this planet Earth that is not fallible. But the degree of fallibility is what personally for me matters. So I will not intentionally put myself in a position that will lead to some of the things we're talking about. So let's assume I came to the US to study. I finished my study and I said, I want to stay back. Now I stayed back, but to remember I came in with a student visa. It has expired, but I'm staying back. Now I'm an illegal person staying back. But I can legalize my stay. And the quickest option of that legalization, which many of us do take, is that arranged marriage option. So I arranged a marriage. It's arranged. There's no love in it. But in the process of the arrangement, affections build. You now suddenly realize it is no longer an arranged process. There is now an affection.
No, Chima, I don't think you're like. What kind of arrangement is that? The arrangements I want you to speak of the arrangement where you pay me and I know to show up.
But hold on now, I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, you said, and that is where the Andrews things are not always black and white. In other words, things are not always cast in stone. It was an arranged process. There was supposed to be no emotions involved. It was supposed to be financial settlement. I pay you, you do this for me, I get my paper, you find your way. But in the process of doing it, because we are human beings, we never know. From arrangement, emotions and affections started building. There's a movie I watched in the early 2000s. Maybe one of us has watched it. It's called How to Drop a Guy in How Many Days. The lady was boasting that she could date a guy and drop the guy. And she dated somebody, but ended up not being able to drop the guy. She fell in love with the guy. So remember, it was a coin toss up with her friends, a boast like I can do this, and she and her friends were doing it. But she got into this other one and was not able to come out. So in the same way, I'm saying, when it gets to that level where what was supposed to be an arranged now goes beyond being arranged, you've already said it. Be transparent. You go back to that person, because remember, you've kept somebody's life waiting somewhere. Go back and tell that person, I can't keep you. Don't wait anymore. I've gotten myself, remember I used the word, I've gotten myself entangled. That was I kept using that word. I've entangled myself somewhere and it's becoming complicated. I don't want to overcomplicate issues. You try and tell the person the honest fact and truth. Let them move on with their own life. And I didn't, when I was suggesting that, I didn't suggest that it's going to be easy. This is now in reference to those who are saying, but it's not easy now. Listen, I'm being careful to make this next statement, but I have to. I've discovered that with us Nigerians, we create too many loopholes in our lives.
Oh, may God bless you. If you are close to me, I will give you a Dom Perignon.
Okay.
Vintage.
So the average Nigerian creates loopholes too many times, and that loopholes is what is making that place where we call Nigeria the way it is. And why I always say this is because it looks to me that every Nigerian is waiting for his own turn. So because we wait for that turn and create these loopholes, there is this excuse. I won't say anything against this matter so that in case tomorrow I'm in the matter, then I won't be judged.
Eh?
Because I didn't judge, then I will not be judged. That's not
Jim,
a
don't be making that statement.
eh?
Don't make that statement. Are you saying when you okay? Could you clarify that statement you just made now?
Which one now?
Why
Which one?
the one you said I won't say anything in that statement, so that I
Okay,
won't.
so,
If I
so
find
what I'm saying
myself,
is this. So what I'm saying is this: we know the right thing to do, but we create an allowance not to do the right thing because we hope that in case we become defaulters of that situation, then society will be kind on us because we didn't judge when that thing happened originally. Does that make sense to you?
very good. Exactly what Andrew just said. All situation. You just answered the question he just said. He said every situation is not. We always have excuses for everything. Like this happened this way for a reason. This happened this way for a reason. If you know it is the way, just live in your truth. Say it the way it is.
Yeah. So let me just conclude by saying this. So I am not trying to claim any over righteous. This is a decision I have made as a person to not put myself in compromising situations. I do everything I can to avoid it. If I see, I do what I can to avoid it. I upfront present issues the way they are, so that way, when you wake me up in the night and ask me the same thing I told you when I was awake is what I will tell you when I'm feeling sleepy. I won't contradict myself. So when I will try not to be in a situation where I will now be looking for a loophole to get out of something, or because I'm here illegally, then I start looking for paper that will make me compromise, that will now make me lie, that will now make me, because every lie takes another lie to cover a lie to cover a lie. So I upfront early enough told myself I will avoid it. When I see it and I know that this thing is going to get me, I look 10 steps ahead at situations. I say, okay, you know what, this is the way this thing might end. You know what? I've told people there's some businesses I've thrown away. So I told the person, I can't do this business. I said, why? Because it's going to involve me do this or do this, and I don't want to do that. So you know what? It looks good. I can see how much you can make from it, but I can't justify some of the things we're going to have to do in front. So because of that, I quickly step aside. I haven't lost an opportunity. I've kept my integrity. Guess what? Down the line, there may be business opportunities that will come that will be less and cumbersome, and you will have peace of mind. So the earlier we start learning not to encumber, that's why we have all these certificate frauds. Because somebody is doing this or doing that, you know. So the average Nigerian, they can argue about it, but it's a fact. I'm a Nigerian, I've studied us. We create room for loopholes too much. We do that a lot. And that is why we are in the situation we find ourselves. Because tell me why you're espoused to someone and you went to study. You finish studying. If you can't get the paper, go back home. I know it. Someone say, not that easy. Go back home. Now you are trying to stay back, and in that effort to stay back, now you are compromising situations, and you don't know the end point of that compromising you're creating. And then it creates a heartbreak for some other lady somewhere, and just complicates a whole lot of things. So, because I know some people have gotten through it and it worked out well, I do admit that, but it doesn't always end the way 2 + 2 in life situations are not always 4. 2 + 2 can chunk out 25. 2 + 2 can chunk out 0. Life situations are not always 1 + 1 = no. That's not the way life works. So I'm conscious of it as a person, and I try as much as possible because I want to go home and lie down and sleep soundly. I try not to be afraid of then my palpitation, my heart will be beating because once you're guilty of something, you can't rest. So it looks easy, but I prefer that kind of life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
Excuse me,
so much,
please.
Jim. Okay,
Excuse me,
okay,
please.
hold on. Please
May
hold
I
on.
do?
I know,
Okay, go ahead.
hold on, please. Jim, thank you very much. Andrew, hold on. Let me have Uncle Jonaba speak, then I'll have you speak. Uncle Jonaba, you're next, sir.
Are we talking about arranged marriage, or we are just, because if we are talking about arranged marriage, Chim marriage is arranged, yours is arranged. So why is any
Uncle Janaba, you said who's is arranged? Are you talking about Adama?
What do you mean by Chin's marriage arrangee?
Hold on, hold on now, Chim. Listen, Chim Zokwedike, Chim Zoike. What is your problem here?
I'm asking him.
Uncle Janaba,
see-
please,
you see,
please.
I think we are missing everything together because we are trying to go too far. I think when we talk about arranging marriage, sometimes we're talking about, maybe you are talking about a paper. When family know themselves and they look out for somebody responsible to marry their children. I'm just not joking. I've heard Adama's story about how he met her husband through the family and all of that. In all, most Indian marriage too is arranged marriage, or family know. Family know themselves and all of that. It's also a arranging marriage, what is in a good and healthy way, because you don't want, like me, I will do the same thing to my children. I would like my children to marry within those that we are they know the value you keep, the people around you, the people you know their value. In fact, if you look at the Jewish traditional marriage, is they seek to know, because there were not too many in number. In fact, there was a disadvantage to that in terms of some illness from illness. But when it comes to a healthy marriage, it's a marriage that people know their family and they say, okay, we want to know this, we want to know that. And then deeper, they dig deeper, not just the surface, I marry you for people. You guys are talking to two different things together. So that one, arranged marriage of
Okay,
getting
Uncle
parties,
John
it's a
Abba, you're
different
going.
thing.
That's not the kind we're talking about. And
Yeah,
if you if
that's
you
why I
heard
say
me,
you guys are missing when you
no,
make
no,
the word
no.
arrange.
Okay, so
It's
you
like
didn't.
something wrong with knowing the family you are getting married. It's
No,
all
that's not what we're talking
No,
about.
Uncle Janaba, that's not what we're talking
That's
about.
not what we're talking about.
No. Arranged marriage we're talking about is when you marry someone to secure your immigration stay on
okay.
your
Got you
location.
now. I got you.
Yes.
And Uncle John, sorry if you had listened to me at the beginning. If you if in case you didn't listen to me, what you just said, I justified what you said at the beginning. As Adama, I said to her that because the first question was why people go back home, and I said, well, based on that video, that the guy might be wrong, that people might go home because of values. Like you rightly said, you say, oh, somebody I share values with. And those values are first and foremost cultural. You know, somebody you share the same culture with, somebody you feel, oh, you can discuss on a cultural level with, and you'll be at, you understand? So because when you're raising children, remember, if your spouse believes that a child should be keeping late nights and you don't believe in it, that's not the same. You don't share the same values. And that's going to be a contentious point at a certain stage. But if both of you agree that, hey, this is not acceptable, that's value. So sometimes some men will go home because they want to be somebody they can relate with when it comes to that cultural context. Not somebody who's
Just
going to.
we keep using relate to someone they can control
No,
and
no, 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 no,
manipulate in their,
no,
let's say the way it is.
No, 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 not everybody. And I said this at the
And I
beginning.
said some. I used the word some. I didn't say everybody. I
Good.
said some.
Okay.
But
But
most of, and that some end up turning to most. Because why I say that is this: if you are a international student and I am international student, and we both study in the same education, like whatever, or you're a med student and I am one as well, and whatever program you come to do is over. But in order for you to climb over the educational ladder and your goals or whatever, you need to secure your stay. And I am a citizen. But you look at me, Adama is she's very opinionated. She's someone, before you say anything, she says it. She doesn't meet that demographic of the kind of woman I want to settle with. But for now, she served that purpose. And we get together. But you have someone back home that suits everything you want to go with. Chim, why still stay with me and you still want to stay with the person back home? That's what we're discussing.
May I speak now because
Go ahead, Andrew. No problem. When you finish, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know she used the floor
No,
to
no,
go
go
ahead.
on, go on. No,
Okay.
go ahead. No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, because when I made my statement, it's not about making excuses. Like I said, and Tim actually did clarified it further. We don't know people's circumstances. It's not. Yes, sometimes we dig hole for ourselves, and I'll give an example of when some people got our papers and whichever way we came into the country to get whatever we want to get. Once you get what the government has given you, then every other thing should be what? Should be immediately cancelled. So that you don't dig hole for yourself. There's this guy that got his paper and it never worked, but he lived large, not knowing that he was actually working with a different name, blah blah blah. Along the line, he did a party that he posted on Facebook, very lavish party. And so people are wondering, you're not working, how do you get money? Because everything is documented there. Whatever they give to you, they know how you can live by it. So if you live above that, that is digging a hole for oneself because you've got it. So again, I'm going to emphasize whether we consider it as making excuses or not. This is, to me, it's not making excuses. It's we don't know people's circumstances, and I am not also excusing people not to, because if we're talking about honesty, transparency, and everything, then it's on everything we do. We can't pick and choose. It has to be everything. My good morning has to be honesty. My good afternoon, good evening has to be, we have to be honest about everything. So we have to be careful. I'll say this. Yes, we don't play with people's emotions. Don't keep people on hold deliberately and having good time somewhere else. But at the same time, we need to know people's story. So if we're talking about honesty and transparency, honestly, we can't pick and choose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're not picking and choosing. If you're not an honest person, you're not an honest person. If you're not if you don't have integrity, you don't have it. It's not about picking and choosing. So we are having a very broad conversation, not meaning that we're not claiming to be righteous. None of us is righteous on this panelist. Every one of us has sin in us. So let's have that clear. So it's not about picking and choosing. So at the same time, all we are saying is be clear of what, stand on whatever you want to do. I don't care if you want to marry four or three or whatever you want to do. That's your life. It's none of my business. Whether you're an international student or you're an immigrant, and I keep hearing you echo this thing. If you come in here, the government, they know how much they give to you. I don't know where you reside, but where I reside in the United States, the government don't give anything to you. You work for everything you work. Whatever you earn is what you earn. So nothing is given to you until you have a personal identity, a way of them recording what you're doing. So maybe in Europe, the government gives something to you guys, but here in America, they don't. So let's keep that straight. Chim, do you have anything to say before we go to the next video? And anyone on the panel, because I want to go to the next video. I just want to make sure we've covered on this topic.
No,
Does
go
anyone?
ahead. Move on. No worries. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Andrew, plays the next video. Thank you, please.
Then you have to leave this house.
Why should I leave the
You
house?
are leaving my husband's house.
Look, imagine what
You cannot be
my brother's
eating
wife
my
is telling me.
husband's food.
Imagine what my
You
brother's
came
wife.
back
I will
from
put this
abroad.
on social media. Let people
This is
judge
over.
it.
You stayed in abroad for 15
And so
years
what?
without nothing.
And so
Your
what?
holiday is over. Please, you have to
Well,
You cannot be feeding an adult like
my own brother. No
Don't
one
you have
them.
shame?
No one them can simple.
Don't you have
No,
shame?
my brother can I simple.
Can't leave my husband's
I will put this on social media. People,
I
man,
don't
the
care.
kind of wife my brother got.
I don't fucking
that I not from him. Ian I said, this guy
leave my husband.
It's one guy that I seen you. I will put on social media. In fact, I put it on social media. Mpona
social media.
You
have been eating my
and so what? Is all my brother? Is my brother's money? I was just like share. That's how you. My brother this is early morning. This one you can't even allow me. You can't even allow. And so what?
Please, holiday is over. Go back.
Holiday. I have come back finally.
Go back to. You cannot stay.
I have come back finally.
I don't like you cannot stay.
I will stay here. As much as I can.
You have to leave.
You are talking
You are feeding you money afternoon. I don't have shit.
Then so what?
Don't you have shit?
When I was in abroad, men not like what is
it? I don't fucking care.
And they said, man, not
social media out of it.
I'm on social media because I'm a social media person. And I also put
you don't
I will not the respect I have.
You are putting on social media.
I want to respect for my husband. My brother, I mean, let's do that post where now have seen the face. But you can't get post here because I want my brother severally.
You dare not put my face.
We put a face, what will happen?
You dare not.
We put a what? I'm only respecting my brother. What are you going?
Just leave.
I want to leave which house?
Yes, leave my house. Leave my house.
Don't come at me. Come, I've been planning to stop him at this room.
Leave my house.
Get out your room.
This is my house.
Don't every morning. This I can't allow me rest. Every morning you can't. What did I do to you?
This is my husband's house.
3 days not him to happen to you now.
Come on.
I will not go.
You don't have to go and rent an apartment. You know you don't.
You don't do you what apartment?
Andrew, could you stop the video? I think that's enough. We get the message. All right, thank you so much, Andrew. I'm going to start with Raham. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your
Rahman.
Rahman. I'm going to start with you, sir. What is your opinion on this video? And the question I have for you is this. I want you to understand the question. How long should a family member stay with you? And before they move in to stay with you, should you have an agreement with them that your spouse has agreed to before they move in? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is a question that I think also it's relative, and for me, my family member living with me, first, of course, yeah, I will have discussed with my wife about my family member coming, because yes, we live in the house together, so we both must know. But when my family member coming, I wouldn't ask if about an agreement of a certain time or not, simply because I didn't grow up in an environment like that. Where I grew up, I lived with cousins. I lived with everyone, that we all live together as one family, as brothers, that we don't even use the word cousins or so anymore. So in such a situation, I will be open to let my family member stay, and I will expect that the goal is for he or she to be able to stand on her own feet and be able to move forward. And I'm saying that also because when I came to America, I stayed with my uncle for 5 years. Am I even saying 5 years? Yeah, for 5 years and a little more.
Say that again. You said for how many years?
I stayed with my uncle for 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
And he wasn't. He would even be telling me, just all the work that you're doing, just save your money, so that you can be able to get someplace. All of that, save your money because you don't have to pay rent. And I live in the basement. Nobody ever called me, aren't you going to leave? All of that until I was ready to leave. So that's the kind of a family where I'm from, and so that's the way I would say it. But the situation may come where, depending on the person, if conflict starts to happen, there are ways that we want to avoid conflicts, but if conflict starts to happen and we can't control it, it's no longer a matter of when or not. Then that's when you have to now figure something out about whether for the person to find a place and whether for you to help for them to be on their own. If the situation, you can't handle the conflict that the person being there is creating in the house. That's another thing. But in such a situation, I think it's everyone, the person living with me and me, myself and my wife, all of us, we all have responsibility to one another to be able to really try to make the environment livable and peaceful, and even as interesting as we can make it. But yes, people are different, and you can never know what will happen. So that's just it. But in preparation, I expect to any member of my family to stay and I'll be able to figure he or himself out until they are
Okay.
ready to go out.
Okay, so let me be specific. When you say stay, are you saying stay as long as they want to? And if they in this staying, if they have to have acquaintance, someone that will come, they want to keep them company at night, and you're a married man with kids, is welcome. Now that's the number one question.
Mm-hmm.
Family members that come with kids,
Mm.
what is your opinion on that?
Family, say the last one again. Sorry.
Family members that come with kids, like husband and wife, the whole 9 yards. You're a
Yes.
family of, let me give you an example. You're a family of four, and you
Mm-hmm.
have someone coming to stay with you. They are a family of 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
do you have a discussion where you say, "Oh, this is how long you have to stay," and let's use the word. When I say stay, this is not a vacation. Let's make it clear. Vacation
Mm-hmm.
is different from stay.
Yeah.
Stay means they are coming to establish themselves in the state where you live, here in the diaspora.
Mm.
So are you saying that they can stay as long as they want to without no arrangements?
See, now that is an additional element to the initial situation that we started talking about. When it's about a family, and I have my family of four, and this depends. First, how big is the house we are living in? You know, uh, if it's something that's able to accommodate us, but everyone, there's a sense of amount of reasonability that is expected of everyone. If it's a family that comes to live with me, and I have maybe not necessarily a big space that we can all share and be, but something that we have to be able to manage for the time where you will expect the person to find their own footing in the world, and be able to start their move their family somewhere. So all of this is also relative in the sense that of course I wouldn't expect the person to continue to stay forever, uh, which I don't think anyone also would want to do that. Anyone who decides, I mean, who's trying to live like that, that it's getting to the situation of someone trying to take advantage of you. All of those things are, there are different situations and things come up, and that you have to deal with. But on the surface of it, if a family member arrives here with their family, and there is no way for them to get housing outside, through any arrangements, maybe any government, any situation, then I'm obliged to host the family until they are able to find another place.
Okay, thank you so much for answering the question. I'm going to go to you, Electricity. Electricity, what's your opinion on this video?
Sorry, can you skip me, please, for now?
All right, Andrew, AY, what is your opinion on this video in regards to family member? Should
Excuse me.
you have an
Excuse me.
agreement?
Excuse me, please.
Yes,
Just,
go ahead.
just want to say like one sentence last.
Go
That
ahead.
part, because I didn't mention anything about that particular video. Because yes, that particular video, we actually don't know the what caused the situation where they are in. And if you remember, I mentioned when a situation of conflict arise, which is where this video is, a situation of conflict as a reason, and then there will be the question of who did what started it, and all of those things. So these are things that will need to be taken into consideration. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so did you understand the Igbo that was spoken in that video? She was saying that,
No.
he made a statement of, did your father build a house? You're a young girl that I went to marry with my brother, and how dare you tell me leave my brother's house? So It's like you know who your brother married, and you come to live with your brother, and not just come to live with your brother. You came from the diaspora to
Mm,
live. Something happened, and he said he always send money to his brother, and the
mm,
brother is living this life now. Unfortunately, he find himself where he has to stay with the brother, and the wife is saying, "You've overstayed your welcome. Go get a place of your own to stay."
mm.
That's
Yes,
what I
yeah,
may be wrong. Some of the Igbo
no,
I don't understand. I have
yes,
to put that
with that,
disclaimer.
you see, with that kind of language, one thing is clear also is the fact that the guy is not being respectful of her home, because not realizing that I think you don't take things the way it is in Nigeria, that you say, my brother built the house and things like that. Even in that situation, anyone who's aware of his or environment and has some sense, you don't just go to your brother's house, even in Nigeria, and you start to talk to his wife like that. A responsible person ought to know that a husband and wife living in a place, they own the place. That's their space, you know.
So
And
if you were to be in that position, and you click on whatever your social media handle is, and you see your brother post a video of that, what
that
would
would
you
be
do?
horrible. That would be terrible. And I think I would really be pissed. And you probably won't sleep in that house that night.
Okay, why? Given that you said that family member can stay as long as they want,
Yes,
so
but
why
I
is your
also
diet on changing?
Yes, but I mentioned conflict as well. The issue of conflict can change the parameters of our situation. And if I have my brother coming to live with me, he has to respect the marital space, and that is respecting my wife in a way. And there are things, you see. I'm a Yoruba man, and I know we all have it in different parts of Nigeria. A way of teaching someone when you're growing up, but there are some sayings that that encourages people to be patient in any situation. So if my brother, comes to live with me, American environment is completely different. And even if he was in Nigeria, as I said earlier, you still have to respect that space. In any situation, we don't. One thing is, we don't know if, even if my wife provoked him, understand, it is me that he should still be dealing with, talking to me about anything that happens, not fighting with my wife when I'm not at home. I mean, it could get physical the way things are going like that. Anything could happen, and then on top of that, putting it on social media. No, that has changed the parameter of the situation, and I wouldn't let the brother stay in my house for long at all.
Thank you so much for answering the question.
Yeah.
AY, what is your opinion on this video? And how long do you allow a family member stay with you, including those ones with family? When I say stay with you, I'm not talking about vacation of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm talking about stay with you, stay with you.
Yeah. So this question is kind of like open-ended question. So I would say it really depends, right? So is it that, first of all, I'm living abroad, my brother is visiting, or with family they are visiting? Is it that I'm living in Nigeria? Is so
AY, we're
it,
talking about specifically the people in the diaspora.
okay, if I'm in a diaspora, right? Say for example, if my brother, as the let's say my brother is coming for studies, for example, he's able to go to school from my house. Why not? He can live in my house till he finish schools, right? The other thing is, if I have family or friends visiting with their family, if they are coming for a month or two, I don't think I have problem with that. But not that they coming to stay permanently with their family, right? It also depends if I have the space, right? So if I have if it depends on my living situation, you know. I think it's gonna depend on a lot of things, but generally, what I want to comment on that video is, um, if for example, like it get to that point where I see no reason why my wife should confront my brother, one, and I see no reason why my brother should disrespect my wife. So I think if my brother is living with me, there is any issue, I should be the one to talk to my brother. If he
But
gets to
AY,
that
your
point,
brother is looking at this wife as someone he knew that is younger. Like, you know how Nigeria or Africa, we
mm,
evaluate everything based on age. We don't even care about respecting the
yeah,
younger ones. So
yeah,
he said something. He said, "This is a younger girl I watch you, like I watched my brother married. Your father doesn't even have a home. So
to
how
be
dare you
honest,
tell me leave my brother's house?"
it doesn't really matter. Like if my brother disrespect my wife, you are indirectly disrespecting me, right? So even if my wife is is so much younger than you, I don't think you should disrespect my wife. At least if anything happen, I should be aware. I should be the one to communicate with my wife. Or if my wife tell me anything, I should be the one to relate with my brother. But if you get to that point where they are fighting in that manner, no, I think that is not okay. Unacceptable. It's time either you get a place for your brother, or if your brother can get a place by himself, yeah, you guys sort out something definitely. But
Okay, anyway, so
mm,
let's stick to the video now. He
mhm.
said he came from wherever out of the country to settle with you. Let's give it. He came from. All right, let me give you an example. He moved from UK to the United States. He's trying to start over in the United States, and
If
he
you
did
want,
that. He did
mm,
that recording. You know, he doesn't have. In order for you to get an apartment in the
mm,
United States, you know what it requires, right?
mm.
So if you are, let's say you traveled for work in Minnesota and you happen to log in and you see your brother videoing your wife and all that, what action and what will you do following that, knowing that he has nowhere to go?
On
And at the
social
same time,
media,
your wife feel that he has overstayed his welcome. What do
like
you do
like
as a man?
like drop the video on social media.
Yes.
Oh, definitely you are out of my house, to be honest. I mean, that if I'm not aware there is anything going on, you just video my wife in that manner and put it on social media. No, you gotta
But
be out.
anyway, her face did not show. All you saw, all you heard was her voice.
Yeah, even as at that, right? If that's my brother, his face is showing, my wife's voice is in the background. I will look for solution. Definitely, it's not gonna be in my house. I will look for other solution, right? Either rent a place for for him if I'm able to afford it, or you just look for solution. If the guy is working, if he has source of income, you work out something. You get him a place, because to me that is very disrespectful. If I'm not aware I'm not aware of the situation, and you just go ahead and just pop a video on social media. No, that's unacceptable in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, AY. And I have
Mm.
a pushback to your response. What happens about the wife respecting her brother-in-law and calling her husband and say, you know what? Your brother has overstayed his welcome. I can't take it anymore. Let's do something about it. Let's go with what Rahim said. He said, family members can stay as long as when you move to another country, be it student, whatever position you find yourself, you don't know that country. But as a woman, women, I just want to say this. I've asked a lot of family members. We tend to be selfish with our space. This is me speaking. I'm not speaking for anyone else. And I have a level of tolerance, and I'm a type A personality. There's a way I have my house. If you come in and you just put everything upside down, you're out of the door. I don't care. Be it my family, your family. That's a rule I have for that's just me. Because how I treat my home when you come in, you need to respect it. You don't need to like it. So, anyway, my question to you is what happens Why is it that the wife did not stay away from the video and pick up the phone and say, honey, look at what your brother is doing? Why is she like gaslighting him on, like making him mad more?
Yeah, and to be honest, either of them can be into trouble. Because you got to assess the situation, right? Just like similar to the topic I heard you guys discussing the other day. I was not here, but mother and wife who to buy a car for first. It's kind of like similar. I think every situation is kind of unique. If anything is going on, like my brother is disrespecting you as a wife, I should be aware. At least you should let me know if there's anything wrong, right? I don't expect, to be honest, from the family where I grew up, I don't expect my brother to confront my wife in my house. I think I should be aware. At least I should be the first point of contact. Also, both my wife and my brother, I don't expect you to confront my brother. I don't expect my brother to confront you. If there is anything, let me be aware and look for a way to resolve it. But when you get to that point where that is more like a point where they are gonna throw punch, right? So you don't want that to happen, right? So when you get to that point that the disrespect is that high, you gotta look for alternative. That's it. You gotta look for solution.
Thank you so
If
much.
you are aware of the situation, then you can
Mm-hmm.
know how to come in terms of talk to the woman. Oh, be patient. We need to help him to get to this point. Yeah, just like what Abraham said, as long as it's peaceful, there is nothing wrong. If I have a space for my brother, I say, okay, even if you are working, okay, live here, save money for the next 3 years, go buy your house. I don't want you to waste money, just save your money. That's a very big help you can give to. If you give that to anybody in this country, oh, there is no help. That is a very, very big help. If he's somebody that is disciplined, is able to save a lot and be able to move on from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, AY. Chim, I'm going to come to you. And I know you're a critical thinker like I am. Now, Chim, the question I want to pose to you is, in a situation where I've had enough, and you, Chim, keep telling me, Adam, might be patient. They are going to leave, they are going to leave. And I say, how long? And you leave for a business meeting, and I'm home with your brother. I can't take it anymore. Should I call you first, or should I lash out with your brother?
Okay, thank you. I don't even understand what it is you can't take. Somebody, because I have to put it in context. I'm not going to answer that question isolatedly. I'm going to answer it in the proper context using that video we just watched. Now, in the first instance, I'm not supporting the guy's demeanor or behavior and conduct. I don't support it. Many of us have been in situations like close to that, not exactly the way it is. So it takes two to tango. Someone can insult you and you ignore them and go about your life. It's their home. I've always said it. I always come from the religious angle. It's always good to leave doors open for strangers and visitors, because you would have children who will necessarily go to places where you don't have homes, and you want them to be properly quartered or taken care of in those far places. So I often struggle to understand what this whole my space is that most women often conjure. I don't get it. So this is your brother's, your hobby's sibling. He was living abroad. For whatever reason we don't know, he comes home and is there for a while. If you have enough rooms, as long as he's not constituting, if he's constituting a major nuisance, that's a different thing. Let's say, for instance, you have children and he's bringing in women. That could be a red flag. Then at that point is to have a conversation with him to say, we don't want you to do this. We appreciate the fact that you're a grown person. You can live whatever life you want to live, but please, for the sake of what these children are seeing, can you not do it in them? Can you find your friends where you can go and host your female friends there, but don't bring them here? You can have that conversation. What I don't understand is this whole dragging space that women always drag, where you have a sibling. Before you married that husband, he had relatives. He had relatives. He had his brothers. They played some major roles in his life. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't give you space to enjoy your marriage. I'm totally, in fact, I don't even balk people. I hate to stay in people's homes too long. You know, for me personally, if I come to stay in your home, you only see me at night where I come and lay my head and sleep, and the next morning I'm out. I will eat outside. I will do everything outside. I will only come home. Hello, come home, have a little chat with you, maybe help you wash plate, clean the floor. I'll go to my room and sleep. Next morning I'm off. I've gone to work. I do those things to hold respect, so that you will not say, it's now up to the person, my host, to now say, oh, let me bring this person a bit more in and make them feel more comfortable. If you choose to do that, then beautiful. So my perception is this: open your doors to people as much as you can. If you need to set the boundaries at the beginning to say, okay, brotherly, I can quarter you for only 6 months. You understand? Fine, if that is what you can genuinely do. But like, I think AY and who else? I think Rahman said, and Rahman, that's a beautiful story. You know, sometimes I don't understand if somebody comes to a new land, you know they don't have a footing yet. All you can do is to quarter them and encourage them to be able, rather than take that money and go and start renting, they put money together. And if it's possible for them to build the equity they need to go and buy their own property, you listen, anybody you do that for, it will take the devil really coming to soil the person's heart for that person not to owe you a major loyalty, because it's not an easy thing. So I struggle sometimes to understand why people do that, but that is not to justify, like I said, what the behavior the young man was exhibiting, because he could have easily ignored her, gone into his room and locked the door and stayed, just totally ignored her. When his brother comes back, tell her, this is what your wife was doing. I don't want to disrespect her. Are you in support of me leaving the house? If the brother says yes, then pack your bag and go. You don't have to stay. Pack your bag and go. There will always be help. I'm one person that believes that, listen, if a door shuts here, you leave that, somebody will open the door somewhere. And sometimes part of your story is to even go through that hard times. So this is the way I want to answer it. I'm not in support of this whole, I understand we live in a nuclear-based society now that does not take into cognizance extended family. I also appreciate the fact that some extended family can abuse privileges. I do. It's not, there are times when the lady is not even at fault. She may be doing her best, but this family member might just be condescending, seeing her as a little girl. After all, I know when they married you and all those kinds of things. I understand all that, you know, but most of the time our women need to learn. They need to learn to accommodate people. Somebody comes to your home, open the doors, let them stay, treat them very well. When it's time for them to go, then let them go. Because once you have done your best, no matter where the person carries your story to, you did your best. You gave them access to your home, gave them food, didn't shut the door at them, and then when it was time for them to leave, they leave. Those things build strong relationships. So I think it's just this whole Western nuclear family structure that we are adopting, and there's nothing wrong in a nuclear family. You should go and take. Nobody says you should now go and be El Shaddai and carry everybody's burden. No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not an apostle of that, but I just think there is room for some measure of extended family, because nobody's in this world by themselves alone. You're going to need people to run errands for you in the future. That lady, tomorrow, if she and her husband are not available and they have children, that boy might be the one taking care of their children. She has not thought about it. She hasn't thought about it. You know, and that's where you see sometimes you don't even know where the wickedness that some people show some children come from. And it could be the intolerance of their mom or the intolerance of their dad or the intolerance of whatever it is. And then they extend it to supposedly innocent offsprings that come up. So that's the answer I want to give to that question. I don't know if it addresses what.
No, it doesn't address the question, because the question was, if you came to me and said, okay, my brother is going to stay for a certain understanding, and he has overstayed his welcome. and Chim, and you happen to leave for business meeting, and me and your brother entered into a baseball class, like the Nigerian space use it. I don't even know what it means. Um, and he's recording me why this is going on, but I don't know we're on live. And I said, "You dare show my face? Should I have gaslighted him, or should I have walked away?" But you, as my husband, know I've had enough of your brother.
So my response again is, why are you starting a mass boss? If this person is getting on your nerves, why can't you just keep? Why are you going to foment? Okay, so I'm not sure what it is that would have led to the mass boss in the first instance, but he's minding his business, going about. Maybe he came to drink water, and you're blocking him from collecting water at the tap. That's childish. Why are you? In other words, you are intentionally looking for fight. So why don't you just deal with the issue of you don't want him to stay? When your husband comes by, call a family meeting and say this person has overstayed. Let him go. Why are you going to go and foment basbos? If he's not the type that is respect, because even that young man, as stupid as he was in that video, he said something that I respect. He was saying, "I'm respecting my brother." In other words, he was conscious of the
Are you
fact.
kidding me? You're respecting your brother and you're doing a live. Tim, let's be realistic here.
No, Adama, he is doing that video. I can understand why he's doing that video. He's doing that video so that tomorrow somebody will accuse him of manhandling the lady. He wants people to see the conversations and see where it went. Because tomorrow, if that thing is not on record, the person could say, "Oh, but Mama can't." So that's why he was doing that video. He was doing it to protect himself, to see the exchange.
Tim, if you can do a video, why can't you pick up your phone, that same phone, and call your brother?
No. He's in his brother's house. You, the woman, are the one telling him to leave. You are the one telling him he's overstayed his welcome.
Tim, I'm saying to you, if you respect your brother that much, like you said on the video, why can't you use that same phone or whatever you're using to record to call your brother and say, "Look at what your wife is doing"?
Where is the brother at that particular point in time?
There is no way. Listen, let me tell you one thing. There are some battles. For instance, I always tell people, I don't engage in a battle with elderly people in the community. I can't win that battle. I will never win that battle, no matter how right I am. Society will say you disrespected the elderly person. I know this for if I always tell people, once an elderly person starts fomenting trouble, to walk away. Even if you have 100% of all the rights, society will say it will the change. There's a way it will change and say, but he was insulting the older man. That's the culture we come from.
And at the same time, the society said, the society where I grew up say,
Adama, already somebody is here posting and saying, "How can you support the?" You see, because we don't listen. We watch a video. When we do these things, can we always be rational to realize that we don't even know where the conversation started from in that video? We only saw a part of that transaction where the young man started recording what was happening, and he shielded her face. He said he won't video her face, but he was videoing himself and videoing the conversation. We could hear the woman and we could hear him. I'm not justifying him. I'm just simply saying, let's be rational. We don't know where he started. Maybe he was sitting down in his room and the girl went and knocked on the door to say, "You need to leave the house." Maybe he came to drink water and the lady blocked him and said, "You won't drink water." Maybe he wanted to, you don't know. So he, in his wisdom, he felt, okay, tomorrow this will go talk, say, he started videoing the thing, recording what was going on, so that he can hold an evidence. And that's why he kept screaming. I've said it here, I'm not supporting him, but he was smart enough to say, "I'm respecting my brother." But like I said, there is enough blame to go around to everybody. That person that is suddenly in a hurry to drive somebody out of their home, who is a relative, and I'm not saying relatives should come and stay in your home forever. I'm not in support of that. Just truly talking, I don't even go to relatives' home to go and stay forever. I've never done it. But the truth remains that you don't live in an isolated world. The fact is that you're going to need someone somewhere. We must always be conscious of that. Even that lady that is saying you've overstayed your welcome, she doesn't know the circumstance of life tomorrow that will force her to be in somebody's house and possibly overstay her own welcome. So I don't know. I don't know how. But there's no way I'm going to say anything here now that's going to please anybody. I am very conscious.
No, Tim, I agree with what you're saying. This is what I'm saying. This is where I blame the lady. I agree with what you're saying. You said there is enough blame to go around. And that's why when I ask this question, and for our viewers who don't understand, when I ask this question, I'm asking these questions so that viewers, I'm looking from both sides. These are not my opinion. I'm just trying to get, as a moderator, to keep the conversation going. So people always think, I see people on the chat, Adama, this is, no, it's not my personal opinion. When it's my personal opinion, you see me make that statement, this is my personal opinion. So let's differentiate the two. Jim, I understand what you're saying. This is the problem I have with that video. And you're right. There's enough blame to go around. If you could pick up whatever device you are, AY says something. This is your brother's personal home. You said you have respect for him, regardless of one thing. We said you don't wash your dirty linens outside. You wash it within the family or whatever. Every family has its own. So all I'm saying is, she, as a woman, she was part of the problem because she kept gaslighting him, like following him around with a camera. If it was a woman, the woman will hit her. And some men will hit her because what she did, personally, I wouldn't do that. Because what I would do in a situation like that, let's just give the benefit of that. He started the arguments. I'll pick up the phone and tell my husband, you know what? Your brother has started this morning. Call him. You have this. I'll give you a timeline. Call him. If this is not a, he's going out of this house today. That's just me. But this is what she did. She followed him in every corner. And she kept saying, I dare you to show my face.
And that's why I keep telling you that is why. So, like, remember I said, we don't know where this whole video...
No, but Tim, the point I'm pushing back is, why did he record it? And I asked you, which you're not picking any side, and I respect. Why didn't he call his brother and say, we get it up as usual?
It's very straightforward. Like I said, he might be trying to protect himself so that at least at no point will anybody say he laid a hand on her. That's one. Two, you know, as we were discussing this, I just remembered Joseph and the wife of Potiphar. They didn't have phones back in those days. So I want to imagine if they had phones back then, and then Madam Potiphar calls him and starts trying to try all the things he was trying. Would he have started recording to protect himself? Because it became his own word against her word. So I'm of the view, I don't even need to see the entire video to appreciate the fact that the young man might be as loquacious as he was. For what kind of man exchanging unnecessary words? He should have just walked away and just gone to his room and locked the door. He's a visitor. I know my boundaries in any place that's not my home. The only place I feel like a king is where I pay rent or pay a mortgage. But if I'm in anybody's home, and I'm not saying this for anybody to like me or think this is my standard. If I come to your house, I don't keep late nights. I go to my work, I come back. I will not be the one to be knocking at your door in the middle of the night. And if for whatever reason I have to come late, I will pre-inform you to say, I'm going to be coming back late. Is that okay? If it's not okay, I'll go and sleep somewhere else. I don't want anybody to say I'm their burden. This is the kind of life I want to live. It's not like I'm trying to please anybody. This is just me and the kind of standards I'm building for myself. So when I live in your home, I respect the kitchen. I don't go to a woman's kitchen. Unless the only other kitchen I go to is my mother's kitchen. Not even my sister's kitchen do I enter. So I won't go to my sister's home and go to her pot. I won't do that. But I can go to my mother's home and go to her pot. She's my mother. I can do that in my house because she's my wife. But I'm not going to go and overstretch my boundaries in another person's home, whether the person is my direct brother, my ancestor, or whatever it is. I won't go to your home and overstretch myself. I will keep within the boundaries that are limited. If I wake up, unless you have given me permission to say, please, when you wake up in the morning, there is conflicts here, or feel free. Fine. If you haven't given me that permission, I will wake up and sit down and I'm watching you. If you don't come out, I will sit down there and just watch you. I won't touch anything.
Okay, Tim, you've answered this question. This is based on one family member. So I go off to the next person. If a family member I'm talking about a family. I'm including the whole family is relocating, and you're the one housing them. How long can they stay with you? Is a answer the question, or you say no, Adama? You just answer, highlight it. That's all.
It depends on how long I can keep you. If I can keep you for 1 week, I'll tell you before you even depart from where I'll tell you I can keep you 1 week. I can keep you 6 weeks. I can keep
This
you
is your family member, or before they say you are not so distant, you know. If you say
Damn,
1 week
I
now,
don't know why you're overstretching the thing. I'm telling you what me I would do. You think I'm here to come and be pandering to anybody? If I can keep you for 1 week, I will tell you I can keep you for 1 week. If I can keep, if the idea is that you're young, you're coming, you need 3 weeks to settle, get a job, but we would have, first of all, we
you
would
know
have
they say blood, you can't replace blood. The woman you can replace, the one you marry.
Adama, I am not making a boast. If you're coming, we will have an agreement. This person is coming with his family. We have an idea that it usually takes 2 months, 3 months for people to settle in. We can give them this length of time if I have that space. And then if I can keep it for 5 months or 5 years, like Rahman said. And Rahman's case, yes, 5 years, because Rahman came as a single person. I don't think Rahman came as a married person. He came as a single person. He probably didn't have any incumbents. So his uncle said, stay. He's a young man. But if you're coming as a family, I can't keep you for 5 years, clearly. But I can keep you for a couple of months, maybe 2-3 months. And we'll adjust as properly as should be and try and make life as comfortable as should be for you. And hopefully, within that period, you'll find your feet and move on. So what the problem we have is not admitting our limitations. Even you that is helping somebody, you are limited. You don't have all the resources to help people. Admit it. Oh, bro, that's beautiful. I love your coming with your family. Yeah, we can. Well, I can keep you for like 6 months. I can keep you for like 2 weeks. You let the person know upfront that this is how far you can go. It's not, and the person knows. And within that period, you try and you do all your best. Like, even when they leave after the 2 weeks, they will say, "These 2 weeks was a fantastic 2 weeks of our life." You make all the sacrifices for them. If you need to carry them in your car, you make arrangement and carry them. Take them to other places things that they can easily start settling in. Go and learn how to drive quickly. Go and get so that those things that will quickly free you up for them to start living their own life. You do all those things. That way, they're able to quickly find their feet, get their jobs, go and rent their own apartment and move in. So the problem is that we are in the diaspora, for those who are in, and I guess this is a diaspora question, but we want to live like we're in Nigeria. No, you are in the diaspora. Because guess what? In Nigeria, nobody is measuring the amount of water you're using. But here, every time a bulb is turned on, it's running already, it's billing you. Every time someone flushes the toilet, you're paying for it. Every time the tap runs. So if you were paying,
and not just that, shame, the grocery bill goes up. The family of 4 and the family of 10 is different grocery bill.
I agree with you. That is why I said you would have had enough frame to say this is how far I can quarter you. You have factored in, including that food. You buy groceries, you factored it in, and you have told yourself, I can stretch myself in terms of grocery for this length of time, accommodating these new people. I can stretch myself in terms of bill. I'm paying $200 for my electricity bill and water and whatever. But I know that now that there are 6 more people coming in, it's probably going to increase to like $500. I can afford to do that for the next 3-4 months. I will do that. That's okay, but define it. When you don't define it, that's where problem comes. And then
thank you, Tim. You just used the word defined it, and I use that. I want you. I like that word defined it. Sorry for cutting you in. Why do we have a problem? Because this person is blood related or is something attached. We don't want to define the agreement. I'm a family of 4. I'm just making an example, and you're a family of 6, and I can accommodate you because I have the space. But I tell you, you can only stay with me for 2 months. And you say, but you have this space now. Why 2 months? And I'm saying 2 months. But 2 months come, you're not making any move. Who should tell who you've overstayed your welcome? Uncle Jonaba, I think you'll be the best person.
talk. I don't want to
Hello.
dominate the
Okay.
thing.
Yes. Oh, Chima, I'll come back to you. You heard what I said. Uncle Jonaba, when do you
Okay.
tell a relative or when do you tell a blood relative they've overstayed their welcome? Not as a single man, but when they come, okay, I want you to look from it as a single man and as a people who come with their family. Like we are in the Japa season. So when someone is relocating, they're saying they're coming to stay with you, Uncle Jonaba, in your space, and their family. Let me give an example. You're a family of four, and I'm a family of six, and you have that space. Even if you don't have that space, one thing I like about our orientation, we are good at creating that space where the family of six, everybody can feel welcome. So when should you have an agreement and say, is it okay to say to this person who is relocating to a new situation, I can only house you for a certain number of time, or should you allow them to stay for as long as they want to?
All right. Thank you, Dama, for coming up with all this. We can next share our view on this video and our experiences. First and foremost, I will go to the video that we watched. I'll come back to that question. Um, I have the privilege to have so many visitors, whether it's from my side, my friend, my wife, family. But one thing to prevent this thing, we're always gonna have a discussion with my wife, and uh, if anything happened, please, for peace to reign, let me know. And same thing go to the person, whether it's my younger ones or any visitor. If you find anything difficult or challenging, something you like or you don't like, please discuss with me so we can handle it amicably because things can easily get out of hand, depends on the mood and all of that. So it's not something that somebody can just come to the house, whether blood related friend. To anyone you already accept to your house, you should have a level also of trust. And that comes with sacrifice. I don't understand the point that people are saying that the guy, especially I had him say maybe he's doing it to cover himself, or he mentioned, he say, I'm putting it in social media. So it's not that he could have been so clear about it that I don't want you to accuse me, so I would like to record these things. And this also go down to the culture of the language he's speaking. They see woman as a toy to their family. If anything happened to the wives, they easily send them away without anything, thinking even about the younger ones. It has been going on for years. But then all of these can be worked out with people have a pre-arrangement before anything get out of hand. So it's not that the guy can just come up. It may be issues that have lingered for so long that have not been taken care of. In as much as we see the guy there or the ladies, we don't know what the guy might have done or if this is the first time or the second time. I don't think that anger that busted that I saw that video is just something that just taking place. So something, some someone mishandle situation that make it get out of hand. So to avoid such thing, people should have conversation. And come back to your question now. If a family are visiting with a family of four, uh, or for whatever the number, it is important for you to know how long uh, you can keep them and you communicate that with them. But within yourself, you should also have a plan, knowing very well that sometimes relationship can even be destroyed in the course of it. But what you want to do to hold your head up, don't worry. the longer they stay, even on their own, when they move from you, things that they see that was your fault, you are not accommodative enough, you did not endure there for long, they will quickly realizes it and they will come back. Some of them will say, I'm sorry, I do not understand the system. I have host people here challenging because sometimes before you know it, the heater run out of hot water, and because of so many people using it at the same time. So I understand completely, but those are the things you prepare. What I do in my own case, I when I accept people, maybe I discuss, okay, you are moving, I'm going to be able to accommodate you. I may have in mind of more than a month, but what I will do is that 2 weeks, maybe that I told you, after the 2 weeks, I will rent a place with my own money for you. And I've done that. I rented a place for a family of ours. That's okay. I pay for this hotel for 1 month. I hope you find your way before that the 1 month expires so that you will not be in difficulties. Because I know sometimes it's easy to say, people don't understand so much. So you have to be prepared. In the course, sometimes don't worry, they will say this and that. But trust me, reasonable one among them will come back to appreciate you. But you have to set the boundary, communicate what you can compromise, what you cannot compromise, what you can tolerate, what you will never. Like the guy, it will never happen in my house. Never. And if it happened for 1 second, as I'm entering the house, is out of the house. And I don't think I'll take it lightly. I know the kind of woman I have. She will never engage with anybody. Even if he's not happy, she will wait for me and she can tell me anything. But for any reason, that my younger brother can come to the house, whether my wife provoke him or anything, he has no right to video anything. That's a violation of my own space and her space as well. So if that happen, yes, assure him that I will rent a place for him immediately. I will go out, rent, I'll tell him whether it's Uber, whether myself, I'll tell you, I don't want you on the street, go and stay there and find your way from there. And I'll be there to help you each step of the way. But that if it happen at all, but the 100% chance is not going to happen because he is understanding. And I think my family knows me. I know them. They know what I can take, what I cannot take. And I've lived with my senior brother as well, live with my other uncles. So within the family, they understand me perfectly well. That anybody that is going to come and do that, you know what is expecting. If he does, if any time that anyone that knows me, they even by the time whatever provoke them to take such unnecessary action, they also know the outcome. They know exactly what I will do. So that is understandable. But in the nutshell, I think people should communicate, give timeline, and also be prepared that the person you say is for 1 month and come and there's tendency of more than a month for so many reasons. But to be prepared to say, okay, this is my exit strategy if this delay. And you communicate that with the people in the family. Sometimes it does not even take two on your wife alone, but on your children and all of that. Like I said to you, we stay and sometimes they're trying to go to school in the morning. And before you know it, they run out of the hot water because of many people using it at the same time. So you can see that, especially that this season now is cold and you rush, you want to go to school and you sometimes I thought maybe something went wrong. I rushed to the this thing. I said, no, it's water. So it's a lot of burden on everybody that you not only communicate with your wife, but you communicate with your children. We're going to accommodate these people for so time. Bear with me. So many things you are expecting. and all of that. So we make it clear from the beginning, and you follow up, and you also have a backup plan. If anything go beyond that date, what did I do next? Because maybe the children will remind you, Dad, I need my full privacy. I need my space.
Yes.
Because in the processes of doing that,
Our
maybe
children will speak up. Yes.
yes, they will tell you all that, and you don't. Even what you tell your wife not to do, you can't tell a child. And have this youth, and they are very honest about their feeling, and you don't want that. So
Oh, but Uncle Jonaba, while you were saying that, we lost him. Is it me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Uncle
can you
Jonaba, are
hear
you
me?
still here? Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
now. Uncle
Yeah.
Jonaba, while you're making that statement, I have a question for you. You made us I mean, I like your submission. Now, for family members who are used to a certain lifestyle where they are coming from, and I have no problem with it. Whatever lifestyle you're used to in Nigeria, I always say something, we are all product of our environment. And you come to an environment where you have to share, or where you have to, do things differently. How do you bring them back to reality? Like, you're not that in your environment where you have maid, where you can cook with snail, cow feet, um cow skin, all those things they put in the soup, in one pot of soup. I have no problem with it. I'm not saying that I don't do that, but I'm saying that, how do you make that, like, where do you put that balance? Because these are people who have how many maids coming from Nigeria, they have drivers, they live this certain kind of lifestyle, and they're coming to stay, they are relocating and they're staying with you. And because, quote unquote, they see you living in this big house, you shouldn't question anything they say or do. But in that big house, I don't know how much of a thing they do in that big house in Nigeria is recorded. But here in the diaspora, like Chim said, water, flushing the toilets, everything is recorded. So, John, the question is, how long do you tell them they have to stay? My second question is, when do you have that realistic conversation with them and say, you know what, this is no longer Nigeria, in America or in UK, this is how we do things. Like, I know back home, like, when do you not look at the lifestyle they live back home and have a realistic conversation with them in with the situation they find themselves?
um like I told you, I've privilege to host many people like family, and like you said, these are people who have everything. Uh, Drivers, cook, maybe not one, not two, and the worst case then they know, in case they watch this program or whatever, is that you have to sit them down and tell them the economical part of life and the reality and how things are accounted for here. And in doing that, they can communicate that with their children, because what we observe, they don't have a limit because they were not disciplined, and that is not the environment they are coming from. That's why it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of endurance. But I cannot, like I said earlier, I will give you 2 weeks. But then I know I can extend it to 1 month. But the next 2 weeks, you're going to spend it in hotel. That's the sacrifice I can do. Because if you are not careful, this beautiful relationship you guys think you have, you're going to ruin it. And I always tell people, based on my experience, don't worry about whatever they are thinking. In a known time, they will realize how much sacrifice you make on them. But people think they destroy their family, going out of their way, struggling to please them. That is none of your business. They will learn within a long time how to live in America. But you honestly offer them and set them on the pathway that they can lead. If they follow your advice, you know you're advising them based on your experience. You know that you care about them, but you will not allow their reckless lifestyle from Nigeria to come and affect yours here. and they will learn it in no time. But this is what you already know, because in one way or the other, we have been there, and that is what will make us to make such a decision, that in the non time they will realize that this is not Nigeria. And you can, no matter how, some of them come with a dollar that you never see before. But trust me, if you ask them, if they spend it, they understand it, they feel the pain. So don't worry about that. Just stay your head and tell them, I personally, I give you 2 weeks, but I have made up my mind. It's 1 month, and the other 2 weeks, I think I'll have enough to pay for your hotel, because that my 2 weeks is 2 weeks. It's not, I'm going to extend it. But what I can extend is that I should be able to rent a place for you to say, okay, I give you 2 weeks. For some reasons, whatever you are waiting for, this is how much sacrifice I can make again. Let's go. This is the place. And I've done that in the past, and I continue to do that. But I won't do anything more than necessary to please you, because they don't know. These people don't understand how things work. You can, and it will take time for them to learn that. So time will tell whether they think you are rich or you are poor, you are not rich or you are a mean person. Whatever they think, they will realize within the no time. But you keep your head straight. My dad told me that whatever money that I cannot let go, I should not borrow anybody. So whatever you know you cannot do it, don't do it. Because end of the day, you ruin the relationship if there's no open communication, especially with your family and everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Janaba. I like that final statement. And my father always said, if you know you're going to use your rent money to feed someone else's in Nigeria, or in whatever situation whoever you're dealing with calls you, don't blame that person. The difference is they use your common sense because you refuse to use it. You want to be generous at your own detriment. So how is their fault? But at the same time, learn to put yourself first before other people. Thank you so much, Uncle Jonaba. And with that being said, I just want to come back to Andrew. We're going to have our final submission and we end this segment. Thank everyone for their submission. This was a good segment. I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot. Personally, well, my family members, they know me. If you're coming to my house, how long you have to stay. I don't have to announce it on YouTube. So let's just keep that personal. Andrew, what is your final submission on this segment? Andrew, are you there?
Yes, sorry about that. I was busy attending to something. Yeah. I'd like to thank everyone who have joined this topic and discussion and into it. And hopefully I have picked up one or two things there. And in respect to the first video, I did put in my own uh, 2 cents into it, that in the part of honesty and transparency. Also, not everything is in black and white, or it's not as it is. So that is my own final word in this regard. Thank you. Before I will thank those in the comment section and the super chat, which I've already highlighted earlier. So a big thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate that. AY, what is your final submission, sir?
The topic we've discussed. My final points. So, I mean, if we have visitors, right? So, I think it's necessary we give them the help they desire. Especially if you move to abroad, you know how difficult it is to have your to set up. So we can definitely give them the help they desire to allow them to bring them up to speed. The other thing is issue of disrespect, I think, is something we have to pay attention to as regard to family. We have to be able to manage it, just like Mr. Jonaba said. I see no reason why a wife or a brother we go after each other without informing the man of the house. As the head of the house, you should be able to be aware no matter what happens. You have to respect each other. Respect, they say, is reciprocal. What was the other stuff we discussed first? We also discussed issue of I forgot the first thing we discussed. However, I'm also happy that a lot of you are becoming used to polygamy, are accepting it. It is a good thing. Don't be scared. Even where that can now accept polygamy, that's a very beautiful thing. At least it can allow her husband to marry second wife now without fighting.
And why is it that part? You must put this. Why is it that part? Why is it that there's submission like that?
So it's only Chi we need to bring up to speed.
God forbid I reject something. She might reject.
So second wife is better than side chick, to be honest. Yeah, however, good discussion so far. Good input from everybody. I learned a lot. So thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, AY. I really appreciate you always contributing to our segment. Raham, AY, how do you pronounce his name?
Rahman,
Rahman, sir.
Yes, Rahman. But really, to tell you the truth, I don't think we need to worry. It's an Arabic name, and an Arab knows how to pronounce it even better than I can. So.
Not just Arab, but those in the polygamous section, they've mastered the name.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, but I know if you call a 5-year-old Arab, he or she can pronounce this name better than I can. So it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What is your final submission? Final submission. I know this. I don't know. I don't know if this is your first time of joining the segment, but given from what I say, I think this is what is your final submission in the whole topic? What do you have to say to round up before we shut down? And that's your final submission, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's not a question of it's not a black and white situation when it comes to something like this, and you can tell everyone the contributions that you have from everyone looking at it from different perspective. It shows us how broad, how that huge context we have to be taken into consideration. But at the same time, we always have to also consider the idea of how people, we all need help. And just like I think it was Mr. Abba that mentioned earlier, we all can need help. Our children can need help, even without even thinking of the possibility of our children. I think to try to be as selfless as possible, we give help to those who need. And whatever situation comes up, you deal with that situation within its own context. Any conflict, anything. But yes, the open thing is, like I told you, I grew up in a family, my father's place and my grandparents' place where I lived. It was a huge extended families. You have people, and we all live together. And there are people who are distant cousins when you try to trace it, or even sometimes some people who are not even direct blood families that we all grew together. Now we get help from one another. If I want to go somewhere now that's one of those people are living, I can stay there, and for many of them, for as long as it's convenient. So all of those things, I think it's important for us to keep that our culture of having an open family place where we help each other, and rather than a kind of closed mentality that we expect, that we see maybe other typical Americans living based on how they are all raised. We are raised differently, and I think the good thing about a place like this where we live is that this environment allows us all to contribute to the society. You never know, maybe sometime in the future, the rest of America will be looking at whatever beauty of how our family lives are, how we are open to one another, and could be incorporated wider in the society. But I think, yeah, we should always keep that in mind, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ramon. I just
Yeah.
want to give a shout out to one of my co-workers. It's been a hectic week for me, and he stepped in. It's been, when I say overworking for me, Rashid, I just want to tell you thank you so much. You didn't have to come in, but you came in because of the love and respect you have for me. And that's one thing I love about medicine. It has nothing to do with religion, ethnicity, whatever. We all come together because we want to save life. Thank you so much, Rashid. I know you're watching. And to my siblings, my brothers, I love you so much for always supporting me. I know you guys are listening. Chim, thank you so much for coming in. Uncle Jonaba, MVP, I really respect you, sir. Anytime you don't come in, I miss you. AY, thank you so much. Andrew,
Thank
thank
you.
you for everything you do for us. I can't thank you enough. And I just want to tell people, I think we have a new person in our group. But you guys will get to meet him when we announce him, but he's here. I just want to show him off a little bit. He knows his let me not say anything. But thank you so much. It's been a stressful week for me. I've been working over 16 hours, but that's what I signed up for. But I thank God that I'm able to do what I do, and at the same time, commit to those things that I sign up for. So I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And just want to say, let's learn to be intentional. Please live in your truth, and at the same time, be honest in whatever you're doing. Because at the end of the day, when you show up anywhere in a case of an emergency, you have to be honest. What is your blood genotype? What is this? What is this? You have to say the truth, but whatever you say is how they are going to treat you back. So think about that. That's medical. It has nothing to do with whoever knows you. I just want to say that I've learned so much with today's segment in terms of um, accommodating people in your home. When it comes to my home, I personally am a selfish person because of the way I live. I work so much and I make my home so comfortable when I come in. I just want to relax and everything. My bar area, like, yeah. But at the same time, there's something every one of you said, keep an open mind. We are not an island, and it's true. And the world is changing so much. And Uncle KJ, if you're listening, I'll be coming to DC. I'm leaving for DC tomorrow morning. I'm going for the inauguration of our president, who is coming in on Monday. I don't know how I ended up in DC, but my transition just worked out. So, Uncle KJ, so make sure that you show up. And you know what hotel I'm going to stay. So we're going to take a photo for the platform saying, "Welcome Trump, our president-elect to 2025." So any final submission from any one of us before I end it?
Yeah, I mean,
Chim,
I think
I'm sorry, Dede. I forgot you. Sorry.
that's
I
fine.
was busy doing prescription. Mother, but you know I love you. Go ahead.
Like I was going to say two things. Everything should be kept in perspective. Yes, we had a conversation based off some video experiences. On both videos, like I said, it's not all cast in stone because, like, the guy was making it look like anybody who lives in diaspora and just wakes up and says they're going home has bad behavior is because women here they didn't have no. People have people have things that they want to do. Like Uncle Ike said, he never wanted to marry. He's Igbo, but he says he never wanted to marry an Igbo lady, and it worked out for him. Maybe I don't know which tribe he eventually married into, but that's him. So there are people who, like I keep saying, for value's sake, say, listen, I want somebody who can be on the same page have agreement on a kind of way we want to raise children and all that. So it's not always that because somebody left here and went there, then they had ulterior motives. And then secondly, for the other video also, like I rightly said, we don't know where that whole conversation started from. It could have been the fault of the guy. It could have been the fault of the lady. Maybe the guy was lying down gingerly on his bed and the woman went to trigger him. We don't know. So whenever we're having these conversations, let's always make room for those contexts, for the sides, for the blindsided area of the conversation. That's just all I wanted to say.
Shim, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say, Rashid, thank you for coming in. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. And Andrew, do you have anything you want to say before we close the
No.
segment? AY,
Sorry,
thank you.
I
I
have
really
to leave now
appreciate you
because
too.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten for a long time. So
Chim, you really going here up to now.
no.
Chimmy,
All
my
right.
time is still 10. Oh, Chimmy's right. No, sorry. And now I always have to reset my brain when I'm talking to you. Chim, you're right. No problem. Chim, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
See you guys.
You see that wife? God, anywhere you're going, they will be incarcerating me one after the other. Andrew, please, what's your final submission?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody have spoken well. Keep an open mind, keep doors open, afford each other the respect that whether it's a brother's wife or it's, I believe it's a brother's wife, give the wife the respect you give to your brother. That's my own final say on that. So if there's no one else have anything to say, I would like to again thank you, and we'll bring this broadcast to
Oh,
an end.
no, you don't.
All
I'll
right,
tell you when to
apologies,
bring.
please.
Thank you so much. Rahim, I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for coming. And I really appreciate your inputs and everything you said. And I'm going to give the final submission to you. I'm not going to give it to AY. He wants to promote his polygamy this thing. No, it's you I'm giving it to. So don't let him
Unfortunately,
influence you.
even Abraham believe in polygamy. Even
No,
Andrew said.
did I ask you? Why are you interrupting what I'm saying? Abraham, please,
Sorry,
sir,
boss.
you will have the final submission. Please welcome. We come on at 6 p.m. every Saturday. Sometimes we might run late, which is expected in our segment. It depends on how deep the other segment, their conversation is. But, sir, you're always welcome. Please, I want to run. Don't allow somebody with the name AY influence you because you're different. The way I see you, you're different. And I give you the final submission, sir.
Thank you very much. But to say one thing, I don't think we are really that different, as you think.
Don't say why
He
you
go
doing this.
shock
I'll
you.
take the mic from you. Don't do this.
Ada,
No,
Ada, I go
listen.
lie for you. I go
The
lie
truth
for
is,
you.
the truth is that we are really not different as all human beings. Environments, how we grew up, can be the something that may create how we see the world differently. But at the base, those perspectives that we have can change at any time. Those are not the fundamentals of us. What are fundamentals to every one of us is stable, and it's the same across the board. So we are really the same brothers, people, the same flesh. But in terms of that, I don't actually not the idea of believing one thing or not believing polygamy or believe in it. Is, as I say, it's a way of life, and it depends on individuals, their context, and whatever happened at any time. So not necessarily that I'm against it, though I mentioned that yes, when in my 20s I was really against, but that was based on some experience that I was going through. So but yes, overall, it's a great conversation. I enjoyed it very much, and I think everyone also that have been listening all along, I really enjoy what everyone has been talking about, everyone's input, because they're all very important as you listen to every single person having good submission, things that you didn't think about. Also, you hear it from somebody else, and maybe you don't get a chance to say it during your own time. Oh yeah, you agree with that, but you keep it in mind. So we are all learning from one another, and I believe the general audience listening to this will also learn very much from it. As I mentioned earlier regarding the idea of people not thinking that you bring anyone to America that's really have, it's all based on the idea of creating humility for ourselves. Marriage is not separate from how we live our lives. It's part of our lives. Everything is centered on that. And it's important for us to know who we are as human beings before we make decisions. And with that, we are human beings that we don't see our present situation. We don't understand it, much less tomorrow or things like that. So we need to really be humble, hold our humility of not assuming that you're doing something for someone and so the person must behave in a certain way. I don't think that's a way to live comfortably and peacefully. So that's one thing that I can say. But there are so many things that everyone has been talking about that I think we can all take away, and people can listen to this video again and again, picking information, wisdom from what people have been talking about. So yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you allowing me
Thank you.
in the studio.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Abdul Rahman, I just want to say thank you to you so much.
My pleasure.
AY is like this. We come here, we have fun with each other, we learn from each
Yeah.
other. AY is someone that I learn to listen to, and we all can learn from each other. We pick on each other, and at the
Yeah.
same time, I just want to tell you thank you. I wish Boom Boom Ray is here. He's my Brooklyn brother. He's a Muslim. I align with him more than AY. So don't listen because we are New York. So please take out AY out of it. Boom Boom Ray has an open mind just like you are. But you see, AY, he's very aggressive. He's always polygamy. All his word is always marrying someone on top of your
who is
head.
gonna marry all these women if
You
you
see,
don't marry them?
you see exactly what I'm saying. This is
Who is
exactly
gonna
what
marry
I'm
all of them?
saying. But Abdurrahman, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this segment, and I hope you will be back next week. We'll come, like I said, our segment will come in on 6 p.m. New York time. And I just want to tell you, thank you. I really enjoyed. When you speak, I can tell you're a man of high intelligence and critical thinking, and that's what I love. And not some people, what they think about is your second wife, first wife. Listen.
Polygamy, exactly, just like
Mhm.
me.
Boom, boom, Ray. Shout out to you, Brooklyn. And Andrew, you're the final one. Then you can shut it out. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Have a lovely weekend, and God bless you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah. Before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.